2 minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. Forty-five seconds remaining. Thirty seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Listening to The Good Shepherd.
Welcome in, everybody. David Shepard on the Infinity Sports Network. Great to be with you, however and wherever you may be listening from. If you are a Lions fan, I promise you, we will be as objective as possible about what just took place between you and the Commanders. There's a lot of bad. There's a lot of troubling things we're going to have to address. There's also some good. And that is to me, that is the silver lining for the Detroit Lions. It is not over. Your Super Bowl window is not over. Although this is a setback, there is no denying that. Number to get aboard, per usual, 855-212-4227. You can always follow me at Shep On Air on any social media website. And we are on YouTube for the next 4 hours as well. So if you can't get through our busy phone lines at any time, you can reach out to us on our YouTube chat. You can hit myself up. You can hit Ray Jarvis up as well, doing a wonderful job with us. You'll hear him on air throughout the entirety of the next 4 hours. And certainly, we're going to talk about the Ravens and Bills. That is the matchup that everybody has been looking forward to. That was the ultimate collision course everybody expected. We will certainly talk about what took place between the Chiefs and the Texans. No, the refs did not cause the Texans to lose that game. We will certainly explain that throughout the show. But, of course, we have to get started with the smackdown that the Washington Commanders put on the Detroit Lions. Now, I am going to admit this right off the bat. Like most people, I had Detroit winning this game. There is a reason why they were a double-digit favorite. And it wasn't just because Detroit was 15-2 and the number one seed for the first time in franchise history. It's because of the fact that Washington has been somewhat inconsistent all year. Yes, they got 12 wins. A lot of those wins came at the last second because Chicago didn't understand how to, defend a Hail Mary. So there were so many instances where you looked at the season and said to yourself, yeah, the Commanders getting to this place is wonderful. They haven't won a playoff game in 19 years. They haven't had a 12-win season since 1991 when they won a Super Bowl with Mark Rypien and the last of Joe Gibbs' 3 Super Bowls. But we all knew that this was when time was going to run out. This was when the glass slipper was going to come off for the Commanders because they barely got by the Buccaneers. And so I will admit, I did not see the Lions turning the ball over, not once, not twice, not 3 times, not 4 times, but 5 times. 5 times? Are you kidding me, Detroit? Jared Goff, what are we doing? I mean, you were supposed to be the guy who was 3rd or 4th in MVP, and you got 3 interceptions in this game, bro? The Lions had 4 overall because they thought it would be a good idea with Jameson Williams to, I don't know, make him a quarterback when they were moving up the field flawlessly. So to me, there is nothing good about the way the Detroit Lions played in this game, allowing Washington to put up 28 second quarter points. They put up 23 in total in that game against the Buccaneers. So to me, this was embarrassing. So when you look at the Washington Commanders, you first have to look at their season overall. And you have to say to yourself, how did they get here? And there is no other bigger reason as to why they completely catapulted their way from obscurity into the NFC title game, and that, of course, is Jayden Daniels. He did miss one big throw, and that was on 3rd and 2, and it was behind the receiver in the second half. That's the only throw I saw the entire second half where it wasn't at the numbers of his wide receivers or running backs or tight ends, because it wasn't just Austin Eckler as a running back. He was amazing out of the backfield as a receiver too. So when you look at Jayden Daniels, he was nearly flawless on Saturday. There's nothing he did where you look at him and say that's what a rookie quarterback looks like, because he doesn't play like one. He plays like he's 10 years into his NFL career. He is without question a top 5 quarterback on planet Earth right now. What they're able to do with him out of the RPO, run pass option, is sensational, because he is one of the 2 or 3 best running quarterbacks we have in today's NFL. And from an accuracy perspective and from a poise perspective, he's at least a top 10 thrower of the football. He didn't make a single mistake. He did not make a single mistake at Ford Field. That was supposed to be Jared Goff. Jared Goff was the guy that was supposed to be in command and in charge of an offense. He was the guy that was supposed to be flawless from possession, not carelessly turning the ball over, not overthrowing Sam Laporta. It was Jayden Daniels that was the guy who was calm, cool, and collective. And when you look at Jayden Daniels, what he was able to do in extending drives with his legs on clutch runs on 4th and 2 was phenomenal. The guy had nearly 300 yards in the first half alone. He put up over 250 yards in the air in the first half alone, which is a playoff rookie record in the divisional round. And we should have seen this coming, because if you look at what this dude did in the regular season, Jayden Daniels threw for 25 touchdowns, threw for less than 10 interceptions. There's only 3 other quarterbacks that did that this regular season. Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, Joe Burrow. Those are the 3 quarterbacks that everybody has among the top 3 MVP candidates. Number 4 on that list should be Jayden Daniels. That's the kind of regular season he put up. When you look at what he did with his legs, he also was just 24 yards shy of eclipsing Lamar Jackson as the number 1 rushing quarterback in the NFL. So for him to be doing this on the playoff stage is not all that surprising, because he was basically one of the 5 or 6 best quarterbacks we had all year in the regular season. So I'm not surprised that Jayden Daniels did what he did on Saturday. Where I am shocked is how the Lions were not able to respond, and how careless they were with the football, and how egregious they were with their play calling. We're going to spend plenty of time talking and dissecting the Lions. But when you look at the Commanders, to again put up 31 first half points against the Detroit Lions, to go into Ford Field and do whatever they wanted with their running game in the form of Eckler and Robinson, to do whatever they wanted with Terry McLaurin, who I think is still, by the way, running somewhere where he's not caught. He looked like Forrest Gump out there. And for anyone who hasn't seen Forrest Gump, basically when he got the ball in the open field, nobody was catching him. They had no answer for Terry. And so that all goes back to Jaden Daniels. Because when the game gets tense, and we've seen this before, we've seen this in big games in the regular season when he plays against the Philadelphia Eagles, and many people right now have that as a rematch, and we all know Washington got the better of Philadelphia earlier in the season. When you see Jaden Daniels play, the more tense the moments get, the more pressure the crowd feels, the stadium feels, the teams feel, the more calm he gets. And he delivered every single time they needed him to. And you got to credit Dan Quinn, not Dan Campbell, Dan Quinn. There's too many Dans that are head coaches these days. But nonetheless, he was aggressive on 4th and 2. Not once, not twice, but 3 times. And the reason why he was so aggressive in the second half going for it on 4th and 2 was because he's got the utmost confidence in his rookie quarterback, in Jaden Daniels. And there's a reason why on the last 3 fourth down conversions they had, they were successful on all of them. They had no answer for Washington because they had 0 answer for Jaden Daniels. So, young man, you know we got to hear from you after the game. How the hell did you go into Ford Field against the 15-2 Detroit Lions team that basically, myself included, had in this year's Super Bowl and stomped them 45-31?
I mean, I always believe that we could achieve more than what people give us credit for. But, you know, you got to go out there, put in the work. You got to go out there, work daily, get better each and every day, and just put your head down and grind. And by the end of the time of the season, you look up and you might be in a position like this.
Do you realize that we had a score in the second quarter that was 28-14? 28-14. That was the score in the second quarter alone. And that is greater than what we witnessed score-wise between the Chiefs and the Texans. It is the most points scored ever in a second quarter of a playoff game. It is no accident that the quarterback spearheading all of that was Jaden Daniels. That is the genius of him. That is the brilliance of him. And every single time we needed an answer from Jaden Daniels, he delivered in spades. And, Ray, I don't know if you know this off the top of your head. It's good to see you, by the way, man. It's always good to have you back, brother. How you been, man? Good?
I can't complain. You know, it's good to be back. It's always weird when I'm not here chopping it up with you, Shep.
Likewise, man. We do a great job on the airwaves. I saw you do a great job on Dexter Henry's platform, so keep doing you, man. I know you always will. Just off the top of your head, I want to get your take on this game as well. I know we got a lot of people calling in to talk about the Commanders if they're not already calling about the cheating Chiefs because everyone thinks the game was rigged. So you know we're going to have to answer that because, you know, the refs had so much to do with Stroud getting sacked 8 times. They had so much to do with 2 missed field goals and 1 extra missed point attempt. But other than that, the refs took the game. I digress. We'll tackle that in a bit. When you factor in the Washington Commanders quarterback situation since 1991, and obviously, we bring up 1991 because that's the last time they won a Super Bowl. It's also the last time they won 12 games in a regular season under the great Joe Gibbs. How many quarterbacks do you think they have had start for them?
Oh, that's some trivia. If I had to float a number, and I've lived through all of them, I'd want to say somewhere around 25.
35.
Okay, so I wasn't too far. I wasn't too far off.
Ray.
It's been a lot of them.
A lot. I mean, that's a fraternity. That's a sorority.
A fraternity of failed Commanders quarterbacks.
You can say that too. At the time, they were called the Redskins, and we shouldn't say that name anymore. But that's what they were. Now they're the Commanders. At one time, they didn't know what to say. They just called them the Washington Football Team. But here's the thing, Ray. They've had some good ones.
They have.
Alex Smith was good. Kirk Cousins was good. RG3. At least for a year, considering he did it as a rookie, was really good.
Oh, yeah.
Here's what they've never had. They've never had, in the last 40 years. Now, Doug Williams could ball. Joe Theismann could ball. But even
You got to
those
shout out Mark Rippon, too. Don't leave him out of
No,
there.
I said him at first, but I wouldn't put him in the same category as an MVP and Theismann.
Fair enough.
And then the Super Bowl MVP
enough.
performance that Doug Williams put up. I mean, what do you have, 35 points in one quarter?
Yeah, that was something else.
Right? So, by the way, you want to hear something else? I love the other producers that work with me. I had Nico Scolatos the other day. No joke. Love Nico. He's the man. I have nothing bad to say about him except one thing.
What's that?
I'm going to call him out on this. Do you know he did not know who Richard Pryor was?
He's kind of young.
Is that unbelievable?
It's a generational thing.
No, but you got to know Richard Pryor. Anyways, I digress.
Okay.
He also didn't know who Rodney Dangerfield was. Sorry, Nico. Anyways,
He wasn't raised right.
listen, we love Nico Scolatos on the Good Shepherd. That I know. But in all seriousness, when you look at the Washington Commanders, the last 40 years, I want you to name me one great quarterback that they've had.
One great quarterback?
One great quarterback.
None.
Not
They've
a quarterback that had a
moments.
great season.
Right.
One great quarterback.
He doesn't exist.
McNabb? No, he was in the twilight of his
It's
career.
over.
Yeah. They have one now. That's the difference.
So you're buying all the stock.
That's what it comes down to. There's nothing to buy. The proof's in the pudding.
How do we know this is not another RG3?
Because RG3 he was 6'1", 6'2".
Yeah.
He didn't have the 6'4", 6'5" body frame that a Jaden Daniels has, which allows him to withstand that contact. We saw Jaden Daniels not just take off with the wheels, but he was able to ultimately run over some defenders. We never really saw that from RG3.
True.
We did at Baylor, but not so much his rookie year back in 2012 because his size wouldn't permit it, right? When you look at Jaden Daniels at 6'4", 6'5", it does remind you of someone like Ben Roethlisberger, someone like Josh Allen that can really withstand that contact.
And he's very
because
comfortable
he's so big
in the pocket as well.
And that's the other thing. See, a lot of people are going to look at this and say, well, Shep, the last time there was a rookie quarterback that defeated a number one team in the divisional round was Joe Flacco against the Titans, I believe, and it was 2009. But that's so misleading because Joe Flacco didn't do crap. Joe Flacco was just along for the ride. That was a defensive battle. We all know that. This was not a defensive battle. This was a second quarter that featured a 28-14 score.
It was a shootout.
Without question. And Jaden Daniels was leading the charge. There was no question about that. I mean, we want to talk about Mr. October in baseball, Reggie Jackson. We want to talk about Derek Jeter being Mr. November. Listen, you can make an argument Patrick Mahomes is Mr. January in the NFL. Jaden Daniels, man, he's knocking on that door. Ray, and I've said this to you before, there's never been a rookie quarterback that has come along and accomplished this at such a fast, immediate rate.
And I would like to say this because we didn't get to talk last week. This is, a lot of quarterbacks have to wait a few years before they have a signature playoff run. But you can go back to even last week against Tampa Bay. He made the necessary plays to clinch that victory.
Right.
Now we go to this week. Showcase performance against the
He was
number
better.
one seed, even better.
He
He's
was
having
better.
a signature playoff run in his rookie season.
So what's amazing about Jaden Daniels is this, and the other side, we're going to get to calls. We understand there's a whole topic of conversation about the Detroit Lions. We understand there's a lot of fault to go around. There's a lot of blame to assign, whether it's someone like Ben Johnson deciding to go for an end around, receiver toss as a quarterback from Jameson Williams. I have no idea what he was thinking. You're moving the ball. You have the momentum. You're at midfield. Why would you risk a tricky play like that? There's no excuse for that. So we're going to get to the Lions' blame part of this too. But I really want to make sure that we take the time to highlight and ultimately pinpoint this all-time great rookie performance because we've never seen this before. We've never seen a rookie come along and have this kind of success, not just from a winning perspective, but being the difference maker in why his team is winning. And Ray, it goes back to Flacco. We've seen a quarterback win 2 playoff games before as a rookie. We've seen Big Ben as a rookie advance to a conference title game. But he wasn't the reason why they were doing that. He was along for the ride. He was riding the coattails of Jerome Bettis. He was riding the coattails of Bill Cowher's defense. Joe Flacco was riding the coattails of Ray Lewis and the defense. Jaden Daniels is the sole reason why Washington is doing this. Now, yeah, Terry McLaurin's a stud. Austin Eckler's a stud. They got dogs. Robinson, he had a hell of a game. They were fantastic. You want to talk about the play calling of Cliff Kingsbury, who I believe should be a head coach before Ben Johnson, believe it or not.
That's a hot take.
No, it ain't that hot of a take because think about this now. If he had the right guy in Arizona, Kyler Murray's not the guy.
Oh.
If he had the right guy, and you saw them progressing, They were getting substantially better by the year.
They made the
Now, they
playoffs
did.
with Kyler Murray now. Don't do that, Shaq.
Wait, say it again?
They made the playoffs together, no?
No.
Kyler Murray and Cliff Kingsbury?
Ray.
They lost to the
Ray,
lost to the world champs.
When you have to incentivize a quarterback, a star quarterback, a franchise quarterback, and you have to incentivize his contract or his study habits need to be outlined, that is not the type of quarterback that you want to sign up to coach. Exactly. If you gotta literally meticulously line that out, and you have to underline that and italicize that, and that needs to be in writing, and you are at that point a professional quarterback, you're not winning with that guy. You're not.
Fair enough.
You're not. So he got the wrong guy. Look. I like Caleb. He's talented. The Bears got the wrong guy.
Oh.
The Bears got the wrong guy.
You're doing too much now,
Wait
Chef.
a second. Carolina.
You're taking everybody out because Jaden Daniels is having a good playoff run?
Time out. A good playoff run?
Great playoff run.
This is an historic playoff run. There has never been a rookie quarterback that put up. Wait a minute. There's never been a rookie quarterback. You even go back to what happened last game. He led not just in passing yards, but he led in rushing yards. That's never been done by a rookie. And then the next game, he tops that by knocking off the 15-2 Detroit Lions, and nobody had him beating the Detroit Lions when they were not even.
I understand what you're saying, Chef. I'm not even taking anything away from Jaden Daniels.
Okay.
I just don't want the other guys getting sideswiped on the way that Jaden Daniels is sent. You know,
but you know what though?
You think Jaden Daniels would be doing well in Chicago's offensive system? Absolutely not.
Wait a second.
Eberflus?
Wait a second. How many wins did Washington have last year?
It wasn't pretty.
4. I'm pretty sure it was 4. They go from 4 now to 14.
Right.
Okay? Jaden Daniels would have Chicago in the playoffs if he were there. You know they got Keenan Allen. You know they got studs on that team.
Come on, man.
You know they had. Everybody said there was not a more favorable destination for a number 1 pick than what Caleb Williams was thrusted into, because that was a win-now situation.
In theory.
In theory. But Caleb's maturity got in his way. The accuracy, to some extent, got in the way. He wasn't the athlete that some people
and the
anticipated.
poor route combinations designed by their head coach, Mr. Eberflus, got in the way.
Getting rid of their offensive coordinator 3 weeks prior to getting rid of their head coach doesn't do anybody any favors. But the point is this. What Jaden Daniels is putting up as a rookie is an example, is a paradigm, does properly illustrate what you can do if you get the right guy in the right system. I know a lot of people felt like Dan Quinn did not deserve this head coach opportunity because he really, you know what, the bed in his last game as a defensive coordinator with the Cowboys when they allowed 40-plus points to the 7-seed Green Bay Packers. But Dan Quinn can coach, and this is a good hire.
Oh, yeah.
And you're seeing what it means to have a rookie quarterback that's ready to go. And the thing that's most fascinating about this, I'm going to be honest with you, everybody knows this that listens to the show. Jaden Daniels was phenomenal at LSU. There is no other way to describe his career except for this. He did not play one meaningful game past the month of September because they had lost 3 games in September at LSU. And remember, at that time, they were not in a 12-team playoff format. They were in that 14 playoff format in 2023. So he wasn't really playing with a whole lot of stakes in these games. So the stats, to me, were a little bit overinflated because they were empty calorie type numbers because there wasn't any pressure that came along with these games. So I didn't think he was actually going to be this good in pressurized situations. But this guy, he's got no pulse because the way he delivers when it matters most and how he has totally transformed this team in the biggest of moments, again, I've never seen this from a rookie. Number to get aboard is 855-212-4227. That is 855-212-4227. When we get back, we are going to take your calls on this game. I did not forget to assign proper blame from this division round game, and one of those blames, Ray, should be on me because I overlooked the Commanders, and I was wrong
accountable.
on my. Well, I'll be honest about it. I was dead right about the Chiefs. I'm right on most games, but I'm not perfect. I'm going to get some of these games wrong. It's human nature to not know what's going to happen 100% of the time in the future. I'll take blame for it. I had a lot of people tweeting me out. Shep, what are you going to say about the Commanders now? What kind of, how are you going to walk that back? When are you going to admit you're wrong? I'm the first to admit when I'm wrong. I was dead wrong about this game. I even tweeted out at halftime, you cannot count out the Lions and Dan Campbell because we've seen them down and out before.
I think those people who were calling you out, that's low-hanging fruit. It's not like you picked a random matchup. Detroit was the favorite to go to the Super Bowl out of the NFC.
Well, they were also,
and considering their final performance against Minnesota, how they showed up in that game, why wouldn't you pick them against the Commanders?
well, what people are going to say, they're going to say, well, Shep, did you not pay attention to their defense when they allowed 40-plus points to the Bills? Did you not pay attention to the fact that they had 18 guys on the IR coming into this game?
Possibly.
And my rebuttal to that would be, well, what did they do against the Vikings, who were 14-2?
Right.
They held them to single digits, so that worked out just fine for Glenn and company. Obviously, Aaron Glenn being their defensive coordinator. But I will take accountability for that. I was one of those individuals that was wrong. Also, from a play calling perspective and from a lack of discipline perspective, as great as the Commanders were in this game, the Lions completely squandered it. We will explain that on the other side. We will get to your calls as well. This, of course, is the Infinity Sports Network. I am David Shepard, the host of The Good Shepherd. You can always follow me at Shep on Air on any social media platform. And make sure you hit us up on the YouTube chat because we're also streaming there live for the next 4 hours. And we are coming right back.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. 1 minute remaining. "45 seconds remaining. "30 seconds remaining. "15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
David, Shep, I just want to tell you, man, I listen to your late night talk all the time. One of the things that really stuck out to me, a few weeks back, my guy, the Warrior, Mr. Positive, he lost his job, and you were just so kind to him.
This is the Good Shepherd.
855-212-4227. That's the number to get in touch with us, the Infinity Sports Network.
Welcome back, everybody. David Shepard on the Infinity Sports Network. It's great to be with you, however and wherever you may be listening from. And Greg in Michigan, if you are listening right now, I hope you have found that job. If you have not, continue to go on LinkedIn. I know that, to me, has always been the number one website where most people are looking for traffic in terms of job applications. So make sure you continue to pursue that path, Greg. And we're always pulling for you here at the Infinity Sports Network, man. I mean that. I really do. You're a good man. So number to get aboard is 855-212-4227. Before we get back to the busy phone lines, I do want to say this. There are two sides to every story, okay? Unless you're talking about Texans and Chiefs, and there's only one side to the story. We'll talk about that in a little bit. The Lions, there were a lot of self-inflicted wounds in this game for Detroit. And there's a lot of blame to go around from multiple people. Number one, it was a 7-3 game. Lions have the ball. You have an opportunity to go up 14-3, and you have a costly fumble. Then the Commanders take over. You have an opportunity to get back in this game. You throw a ball way over the head of Sam Laporta. That was a horrible throw by Jared Goff. So from the Lions' perspective, Jared Goff did not play well in this game at all. He had 4 total turnovers, 3 interceptions. He played like the rookie, not Jaden Daniels. That's blame number one. Blame number two. It is a one-possession game in the second half. You get back in this game. It was 31-21. You get back in the game. It's 31-28. You stop them. It's 4th and 2. Washington elects to go for it. You do not shadow Jaden Daniels. So the defense, I don't know what the cornerbacks were doing, but they were looking at the A-gap and B-gap, and not at the outside. There was nobody who had an eye on the outside, and Jaden Daniels just goes scotch-free out of bounds first down. Inexcusable in the divisional round matchup of the playoffs. That is on Aaron Glenn. That's on the defense. That's the second blame. Now, you stop him again. It's 4th and 2 again. They don't even run a play. Why is that? You got 12 guys on the field. Even Tom Brady, who's certainly taken his fair share of criticism with his broadcasting debut this season, even he noticed it. He's saying it for 15 seconds. Not one Lions coach calls a timeout. Not one. And what happens? 12 men on the field, automatic first down. Commanders score, go up 2 possessions. They never look back. Inexcusable. Can't happen. There's 6.5 minutes left in this game. And Jared Goff is clocking it. In other words, he's spiking the ball. He's just giving up first downs. And they end up kicking a field goal because they gave up a first down. You don't do that. And Mr. Ben Johnson, I thought you were supposed to be the greatest offensive mind in the history of man and womankind. You don't have one play that goes out of bounds? Every single play was 10 or 15 yards over the middle when you were down by 2 or 3 possessions trying to catch up in this game in the fourth quarter. Every play. No exaggeration. Ray, am I lying? Was there one play that went down the field in the fourth quarter with 6 or less minutes to go where it went out of bounds and the clock stopped?
Not at all.
How is that possible?
Amateur hour, quite
Ray,
frankly.
They're huddling up. They're huddling up with 6 minutes left.
No urgency.
Down 3 possessions. They're huddling up. What are we doing?
Trying to lose, apparently, because I didn't get it either.
Like, no, I'm not over exaggerating here.
No.
I'm not saying someone should be fired, but these are fireable offenses.
Absolutely.
If you were in a divisional round game and you were huddling up with 6.5 minutes to go, and I didn't even get to this. You're moving the ball. You are winning the second half. They can't stop you now, that being the Commanders. You are moving the ball. You're past midfield. And you think it's a good idea to do a reversed handoff and have Jamison Williams become a quarterback and throw into double coverage, and you have the momentum on your side, and you're already moving the ball downfield?
Getting cute for no reason at all. Keep going north and south. What are you going sideways for?
Someone's got to answer for that. I'm not going to blame them for not being able to recover an onside kick, although I think it was well within their grasp to at least get it. But you give Ertz credit. He comes up with it. He's got great hands. He's been in the league forever for a reason as a receiver. We get all that, right? But to me, there were so many things you can point to and say the Lions completely gaffed on this. They completely were no-shows on this. They choked in this regard. They gave it away. They squandered it in this capacity. There were so many instances where the Lions cost themselves in this game.
Can I say something?
You may.
It almost shocks me that the Lions played like the team that this was their first ever playoff appearance.
By the way,
they coached like a team. This was their first playoff appearance.
Let me say something. At this point, you don't have to ask if you can say something. You know that.
But it's just befuddling to me because
good word.
What stood out to me the entire time was what you ranted about a few seconds ago. It's 45-28. 7 minutes left in the game, and you're casually going up the field. There's no urgency.
Ray,
you're down 3 possessions.
Ray, this didn't happen once. This happened twice. This happened 3 times. When they're trying to go down the field, we understand Jamison Williams is a speedster. Ray, he was going all the way to the end zone every single time, and they were having plays of 5-10 yards. So you're eating up so much clock as an offense because you're waiting for him every single time to come back to the huddle when you're not being called for having a guy offsides, and you're wasting 20 to 30 seconds every single play.
It was atrocious. I was really disappointed in this team that all this bravado, all of this energy all season long, Super Bowl favorites, and this is how you show up when everybody's looking. This is what you do,
right? To me, there are so many instances. And by the way, I don't want to hear another word about Ben Johnson being the must-hire guy anymore. I don't want to hear that anymore. And I understand Aaron Glenn was down a lot of defenders, but come on now. You got to see 12 guys that are on the field. There's 65,000, 70,000 guys, people in the fans and stands cheering their heads off, so you can't necessarily relay that to a player on the field to maybe necessarily get off. I get that. Then call a freaking timeout.
Details matter.
Details are everything at this point. And the detail-oriented team was the team that had no business being there, that was already playing with house money, Ray.
There you go.
Number to get aboard is 855-212-4227. See, Ray, this is what happens when we work together, man. We get fired up. Let's get to Josh in Spokane. Josh, always good to hear from you, buddy. What you got for us, man?
What's up, Chef? How you doing, my friend?
Good, Josh. How are you, man?
Yeah, it's been a good day, man. It's been a real crazy day. A lot of sports that's half of it's gone the way I was hoping, the other half not so much. But I can thank the UFC for carrying that. That was great.
Fair enough.
Great. If anybody listening likes UFC, they know what I'm talking about. What a card. So much for the Dan Campbell going up to Kevin O'Connell saying at the end of week 18, I'll see you in 2 weeks. Where you guys going to go to? Cancun? You going to see him in 2 weeks in Cancun, bro? What's going on here?
You know that was trending, right? You know Campbell in Cancun was trending for a reason.
Yeah. I didn't come up with that, the Cancun thing.
Right.
I thought it, though.
Right.
Someone put it on Twitter.
So, Josh, I will say this. I'm going to take some time in probably the next segment to just kind of talk about the totality of the Lions season, this was not a failed season. The worst part of this is for Detroit. They picked, without question, the worst time of their season to have their worst game. This was, without question, the biggest game of the year, but it's also one of the biggest games they've ever had as a franchise because, Josh, they've never been in the driver's seat before in the NFC playoff picture. They've never had a number 1 seed. So they've never been in this position where basically they have had a stadium that all they got to do is take care of their own and they get to a Super Bowl. They never had that before. So this was a very unfortunate situation that played out for Lions fans. I know every single fan in that stadium, they just had their collective heartbeat more than it should have. And the collective, breath ultimately was taken away from everybody. And you could hear a pin drop at some point in the fourth quarter. But the truth of the matter is this is still a successful year, although the ending is disastrous.
Shep, I didn't actually watch most of the Lions game because of the fights tonight, so I was keeping track with the score.
Fair enough.
So I don't want to sound like apparently I'm a subpar caller, so I'm going to try to fix that. But
who said you're a subpar caller? You're not.
Well, I don't know. Maybe somebody in that YouTube chat a few weeks ago.
Hey,
but
listen. The YouTube chat, they're more comedians than anything else. And in fact, my brother actually stole my password, so I got to get onto that YouTube chat another way. I'm trying to figure that out right now. But the truth of the matter is, there's a lot of comedians in that YouTube chat, like Bobby, Daly, but they just mean that in good fun. They're never serious in what they're saying.
I hope I don't sound soft and offended. I'm just messing with the whole subpar, but I didn't watch the game because of the fights. I was keeping track of the score. So obviously I can't comment too much on it. I will say, you talk about like, is it a failure? I'm sure you remember what Giannis said very brilliantly about a year ago when they were eliminated from the playoffs. Someone asked if
2023 they got knocked off by the Miami Heat in 5 games, and he said it's not a failed season. Now I disagree with him because they didn't just lose one game; they lost a series.
Sure, but I'm just bringing that up. How
right.
that you can view the Lions season as it's not a failure because you're right in the NFL and even especially I always say this when it's March Madness, you can do all this stuff, but once it's March, it doesn't matter what you did. Obviously that's going to help build it up, but you're in a whole different ball game. You can't have a bad game. In the NBA you can have maybe one bad game. In baseball, I mean, you lose one game. Oh, great, I lost one game. I have 1,000 more games the rest of the summer.
Right.
So it is definitely hard to say it's a failure. It's just it's very disappointing. Yeah, you're right. I mean, getting that number 1 overall seed, it's really hard. And I feel even worse I have a couple friends that like the Lions, but I feel worse for Campbell because you can tell that he's crushed.
He took full responsibility afterwards. He was very emotional, and there's no surprise there. We're going to play some sound from Dan Campbell because you can really hear how much this loss penetrated him and how much this is going to impact him. He's going to remember this for the rest of his life. There's no question about that. Josh, you were anything but a subcar caller, buddy. I would even talk to you more, but we're up against it. Love you, buddy. Yeah. Always good to hear from you, man. Enjoy. I hope you do get a chance to watch these division round matchups on Sunday.
I will. Go Ravens.
That's right.
I'm hyped to watch my Ravens. God bless you, Shep.
God bless you, Josh. Always good to hear from you, man. We're going to get to your calls on the other side. We're certainly going to break down the Chiefs-Texans. No, the refs did not rig the game. We'll get to all that at the top of the hour and your calls. Before we do anything else, let's get to our latest sports flash. Here is Dexter Henry.
Infinity Sports Network Sports Flash.
All right, thank you. We kicked this one off with playoff football as the divisional round kicked off on Saturday with a doubleheader. In Kansas City, the 2-time defending Super Bowl champs, they moved a step closer to another trip to the big game.
They have 3rd down and goal to go at the 11.5-yard line of Houston. 3 receivers to the right. Mahomes stepping up again, tries to throw. Line caught! Touchdown! Kansas City! Travis Kelce owning this game. An 11-yard touchdown. Playoff Pat to playoff Kelce, and the Chiefs lead 19-12.
That's the Chiefs Radio Network. Extra point will put the Chiefs up 20-12. Patrick Mahomes threw for 177 yards, 117 of those yards went to tight end Travis Kelce, who hauled in a TD score. Kareem Hunt rushed for another score as Kansas City bounced the Texans 23-12 to advance to the AFC Championship game for the 7th straight season. For Houston, their season ends, and head coach DeMeco Ryans says his team has work to do if they are to defeat the elite teams in the league.
Obviously, we're not good enough to beat a really good football team, right? So when we can do the things we need to do consistently and all the time, that's when we'll be able to, come here and be in this spot and win a football game. But unfortunately, we still got things to clean up of our own.
The Chiefs, they will now await the winner of the Bills and Ravens on Sunday. In Detroit, rookie quarterback Jaden Daniels looked like a poised veteran in his second playoff game. Daniels completed 22 of 31 passes for 299 yards and also threw for 2 touchdowns. The Commanders' defense, they forced 5 Detroit turnovers as the Commanders stunned the top-seeded Lions 45-31. Terry McLaurin says the team has really come together this year.
You never know what could happen, but the way that we've galvanized together, we went through adversity in the middle of the season, and we finished the season strong. It's unbelievable to be in this spot, and we're excited.
Washington, they're headed to the NFC Championship game for the first time in 33 years. They will now await the winner of Sunday's Rams versus Eagles game. I'm Dexter Henry.
This is the Infinity Sports Network. Check out our new and improved website at infinitysportsnet.com. That's infinitysportsnet.com.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. 1 minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. Forty-five seconds remaining. Thirty seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Get to Greg, who has been patient in Michigan. Greg, how you doing, man? Always good to hear from you.
Oh, my God, Shep, Mr. Positive. I got to tell you, my man Chris Cuomo would be so proud of you. You are so spot on. Shep is speaking the truth.
This is the Good Shepherd.
855-212-4227. That's the number to get in touch with us. The Infinity Sports Network.
What is this, a Greg from Michigan love affair? We got 2 rejoins. We're 2 for 2 in Greg.
Hey, well, he's probably down right now.
Is that what this is about? Was this intentional?
Yes.
Brilliant. Well done. Number to get aboard is 855-212-4227. Of course, my name is David Shepard, host of The Good Shepherd on the Infinity Sports Network. The other voice you heard, of course, is the great Ray Jarvis. Let's get back to the phone lines at 855-212-4227. And again, we are live on YouTube, so if you are getting us on the air, you can also weigh in on YouTube if you cannot get through the busy phone lines. Let's get to Harrison in Iowa. Harrison, appreciate the patience. Go ahead, man.
Hey, what's going on, Chip?
How are you, Harrison?
Yeah, I was wondering myself with the 2 re-intros with the Greg, Mr. Positive.
Right.
Holy Max, bro. That's one way to get me to change the channel. But anyway, listen to this.
Yeah,
listen
go ahead.
To this. So, okay, where there's smoke, there's fire, brother. People talk. I didn't watch the game.
Yep.
All I know is when Kansas City plays, being a divisional rival Broncos fan, I see it. I've seen it for 20 years. These guys get rest calls nonstop. Look at any of the punt recoveries, kickoff recoveries for touchdowns.
So Harrison, I want to let you finish, but just very quickly.
No, I'm finished. I'm just saying, where there's smoke, there's fire. I'm glad there's
Harrison, did the refs?
Yes, sir.
What was the refs' role in allowing C.J. Stroud to get sacked 8 times?
I have no idea what his role was.
What were the refs' role in the Texans' inability to not miss 1, but 2 field goals and an extra point?
Okay, Steph. Then take this, for instance. What's the refs' role in? They could call holding on every single play, correct? They do not. We all know this as NFL fans. There's holding, punching, gouging, and everything.
Of course.
On every single play.
And Harrison, to your point, listen, the Chiefs are not the exception here. When the Patriots were dominating in the 2000s and the 2010s, they got the favorable calls.
True that.
When the Cowboys were doing it in the 90s, they were too. When the Niners were doing it in the 80s, when the Steelers were doing it in the 70s, when the Packers were doing it in the 60s. Yes, if you are a dynastic-like team, you are going to get more of the benefit of the doubt. That comes with the territory. Yes, there were two Texans that hit each other instead of Patrick Mahomes. That should not have been an enforceable foul on the play. We all get that. But the refs didn't cost the Texans. Yeah, the Texans got slighted, but get over it.
Cost. It's just the help. That's all I'm saying.
Oh, I'm in agreement with you there. But to say the game is rigged is ridiculous.
Never said that.
I'm not saying you said that. You did not say that. But that's what I'm seeing from the majority of people, that this game was rigged.
People want to say that because it's not going their way.
Right.
I get it twice a year. Heck, we should have been the first team to beat them this year.
And Harrison, I don't know why I'm blanking on the kicker, but you and I both know the refs had nothing to do with the Broncos missing that field goal at the end of the game. They should have beat the Chiefs.
I'm not saying it, but they shouldn't have been.
Well, it was Lutz, right? Wasn't it Lutz?
Oh, yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah.
Whoever blocked,
right.
Didn't he get the one today, too?
Yeah.
Same guy blocked the
No, what I'm saying is the kicker, your kicker's Lutz. He missed the field goal at the end in Arrowhead. You should have beaten them. That was tailor-made for you to beat them. The refs had nothing to do with the missed kick.
No. Not saying on that play they were.
Right.
You're exactly right. I'm just saying there is help involved. That's all I was going to say.
Yeah.
Appreciate your time, bro.
Of course, Harrison. Appreciate you, brother. Always good to hear from you, man. Yeah. Listen, we're going to address that on the other side because there are too many people pointing the fingers and saying, the Chiefs' pathway to getting to the Super Bowl is inevitable and it's scripted and it's basically WWE. It's not. When you are great at something, if you are Barry Bonds, you're going to get the benefit of the doubt at the plate if it's 50-50. If you're Michael Jordan, if you're LeBron James, if you're Kobe Bryant, if you're Wayne Gretzky, if you're Sid Crosby, if you're Jaromir Jagr, if you're a superstar, if you are greatness personified for year in and year out, you're going to get the benefit of the doubt. That is the Kansas City Chiefs. They are by far the dominant team of the 2020s. There's a reason why the refs favor them. We'll get more to that on the other side. Shep on the Infinity Sports Network. We're coming right back.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. 2 minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. Forty-five seconds remaining. Thirty seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
When I wake up in the morning, love, and the sunlight hurts my eyes, and something without warning, love, bears heavy on my mind. Then I look at you, and the world's all right with me.
Back to the Good Shepherd.
Welcome back, everybody. David Shepard on the Infinity Sports Network. Number to get aboard is 855-212-4227. Hope wherever you are, wherever you may be, hope you're having a wonderful and smooth Sunday morning. I know the Commanders are having a very smooth Sunday morning. Of course, we spent the first hour, the majority of the first hour, breaking down the brilliance of Jaden Daniels and the Commanders and the lackluster collapse of the Detroit Lions. Now, before we get back to phone calls, and again, you can always call us at 855-212-4227. You can always hit me up on social media at Shep On Air. You can always hit us up on YouTube stream as well. We are on that Infinity YouTube Sport Net stream every single show now moving forward, which I'm very excited about, so that's another way to interact with us. There's two sides to every story, and when you look at the Detroit Lions, this is a gut punch. This is a very tough pill to swallow. For the first time in franchise history, you get the number one seed in the NFC. Everybody is expecting you to get to the Super Bowl, at the very least. Get past a team that hasn't won a playoff game in 19 years, minus last weekend. So this is tough to swallow, especially when you consider the fact that they're the team and the Commanders that had no turnovers. You had 5. You were the team that didn't know how to properly run an offense when you needed to catch up in this game down 3 possessions, and you felt like it was a good idea to not have your offense on the field in which you were actually trying to, save time instead of have time run off the clock as if you were the defense. So there's a lot of head-scratching things about this game for the Detroit Lions. Certainly you cannot have 12 men on the field when you're down by 3 points trying to get back in this game. But you're going to have games like this. You just picked the wrong time to have a game like this. It's unfortunate. But there's two sides to every story. The 49ers did not recover from last year's Super Bowl collapse. Yeah, I get it. Christian McCaffrey, the best running back in 2023, was out for the majority of the season. They had a plethora of injuries, but even at the beginning of the season, they were just playing at a different gear. They weren't playing with the same bravado. They didn't have the same pep in their step. They weren't thriving the way we saw in 2023. They were not the same team this year. Russell Wilson has never recovered from that collapse in the Super Bowl against the Patriots. He never has. He doesn't have that moxie anymore. We understand now he's 36 years old, but even when he was in his late 20s, he never was the same quarterback. Seattle was never the same team. The Lions did recover from that 24-7 second half collapse against the 49ers in the NFC title game. And that speaks to their culture, and it does speak to Dan Campbell. It's a testament to what he's built in Detroit. You know, at one point, this team was not called Detroit. They were called the Portsmouth Spartans. That is not a joke. They were the Portsmouth Spartans back in 1930. That's how long they've been around as a franchise. That's 95 years. They've never won 15 games before. So to come off a season in which you were this close to getting to your first Super Bowl and having that taken away from you after an abysmal second half in which you went for pretty much every fourth down and failed, you come back the next year and are stronger, that speaks to your mental toughness and it speaks to your resilience. And it's why, even though this is a very tough loss and pill to swallow, the Lions are going to be back because there's not quit in this team. They have a strong enough leader in Dan Campbell, and they got strong enough guys that are willing to follow properly in Amon-Ra St. Brown and Jahmyr Gibbs. And we have to be honest about the pieces that were not there for this team. You have the Aiden Hutchinsons of the world, arguably their best defensive player that was not on the field in the NFC divisional round this year. You had 17 other guys that were not on the field for the Lions, and 14 of those were on defense. So they were very subpar, to use that word that we used in the first hour. It's unfortunate. The Lions are going to be back. The same way people were writing off the Buffalo Bills and saying their window's closed after Bass misses that field goal and they completely squander another opportunity to get by the Chiefs. You knew with Josh Allen they had a strong enough leader to kind of withstand any criticism and they would be back, and they were. Same with the Detroit Lions. Again, terrible way to go out this season, disappointing to say the least, but their story is not over. They got a guy in Dan Campbell who was going to take all kinds of accountability, and even though we know there's plenty of blame to go around, the buck's going to stop with him.
I don't care if you're the 7 seed, 6 seed, 5 seed, 1 seed, because I've lost at all of them damn near, and it stings and it hurts. So, you know, it hurts.
Jared Goff, how you feeling after this collapse?
It's a humbling game. It's a humbling sport. And we were on the top of the world after that Minnesota game, and then it's hard standing here right now and trying to process it all.
Yeah, look, you have a leader in Jared Goff. You have the ultimate leader in Dan Campbell. It reminds me a lot of what we saw in San Antonio. And I know there's a lot of people that are NBA fans that listen to the show. I didn't think the Spurs were going to recover after Game 6 in the 2013 NBA Finals. You're up by 2 possessions on Miami's home floor. You're about to win your 5th franchise world championship, and then you make the ultimate blunder by not having Tim Duncan on the floor. Chris Bosh gets the offensive rebound off a missed 3 from LeBron James, finds Ray Allen in the corner. The rest is history. I never thought the Spurs were going to recover after that. And they did. And they were better the next year. And Ray, the Lions were better the next year. And that's not an easy mat to get off of when you're this close to getting further than you've ever gone as a franchise, only to have it taken away from you in the most heartbreaking fashion to get back up on the mat the very next year and be better. Speaks volumes about Dan Campbell and about what this franchise has become. Really tough way to go out. Plenty of blame to go around. I'm not writing them off yet. I still believe this team is destined to get to a Super Bowl with Dan Campbell, with Jared Goff. Who knows what's going to happen with the coordinators and Ben Johnson and Aaron Glenn, but I believe those 2 guys still have what it takes to get back there. This is just a very unfortunate Saturday for this team.
I got to say, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but I think because of what you just said towards the end, the pilfering of their assistant coaches, because Johnson and both Glenn, I get the sense that they're moving on.
Correct.
They're going to get head coaching gigs.
Although Kingsbury, after this, may have vaulted both of them.
Very possible.
Yeah.
But you know how the NFL is. There's some very stubborn owners who already decided this is our guy, win or lose, we're hiring him.
There's also owners that listen to these kind of shows that say, you know what, after that performance, maybe they're not at the top of my list anymore.
As long as they're not using Madden.
Right.
But I digress. But when I look at Detroit, this is a gut punching loss. The injuries, things, the Jared Goff, you're still wondering, is he really him? You know, how they lost in the NFC Championship game, then you get home field advantage throughout the playoffs and you get punched on by a rookie quarterback. I'm not so certain that they don't regress next season. This is a tough way to go out, all the injuries, the mental fatigue of it all. There's a lot going on.
Ray, so let me ask you this simple question, and this is a question I have for our audience too. Is their Super Bowl window with Dan Campbell and Jared Goff closed? Is that what you're saying?
That window is definitely closing.
That's withering your way out of the question.
Is it?
Is their window closed?
Yes.
So you say yes.
The window's closed.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
So they just go 15-2. They got 18 freaking players in IR, including their best defensive guy, in my opinion, in Aiden Hutchinson. Because let's be honest, that defense, unless they're playing the Vikings, couldn't stop a nosebleed at the end of the season. And you're telling me, based on the amount of guys they had out there that weren't available, because of that, you're saying they're done?
I'm going to take it a step further. I think they were frauds.
Wow.
They got exposed by Buffalo. And then we got...
Wait, tell me. They got exposed by Buffalo?
Yeah.
Or again, half their defense was missing.
We don't get to pick and choose that injury argument. Because that same injured defense locked down one of the best offenses in the league on the final Sunday of the season.
But then we also saw the Rams make that offense look just as bad.
Hey, it is what it is.
Right.
It is what it is. But you can't tell me...
To me, if you want to throw the term fraud around, if you want to say fraud, that is a lot more applicable to Sam Darnold than anybody else right about now.
When you play a good team, we're injured. When you play a bad team, great defense. No, you're a fraud. You got to show up. Texans had injuries. They showed up.
I'm not done with Detroit yet.
I'm done with them.
I'm not done with them. Ray,
the gimmicks are done. The fourth downs are done.
Listen. Terrible play calling, man. Like, you got to clean some stuff up. This isn't going to work.
No.
But you can still have the pieces. You just have to make the necessary adjustments.
They
got the horses.
A 15-win team had this many coaching gaffes in a playoff game?
Yes.
They're frauds.
Yes. But, Ray, let me ask you this question. When you're up 28-3 in a Super Bowl, and you know where I'm going with this, and you have the ultimate opportunity with arguably the best quarterback, at least that season, in Matt Ryan. We know he was never better than Brady, but that season he had a better year. We understand they got the best playmaker in all of football in Julio Jones.
Right.
They got some dogs on that team. I never thought for the life of me that Dan Quinn would be able to lead a team to a Super Bowl. You're telling me right now there's not people out there, I'm not saying it's you, but there's not people out there right now saying, yeah, they could potentially win a Super Bowl in Washington with Dan Quinn.
Very possible.
Now, no one would have said that 8-9 years ago when they lost in the fashion they did when he was head coach of the Falcons. Everyone would have told you there's no way any team's going to win a Super Bowl with that man in charge. So let's not be prisoners of the moment. That's what I'm saying.
I don't know. I think we both are from different perspectives, because who's to say that Washington won't get blown out of the playoffs next week?
No,
and then we'll be back here talking about Dan Campbell.
Listen, I was very sure. I was very sure about the Lions. I was wrong.
Right.
I am more sure about this.
You know what it is?
The way Jaden Daniels is performing, and the way Cliff Kingsbury is designing an offense around him, because he may not be there next year. He may be the guy in Chicago for Caleb. They're not getting blown out. They just have a system that's unstoppable. Agreed. It's impenetrable. Agreed. And Austin Eckler, the difference that he has made has been incredible. The dual threat that he's been underrated.
He's been a great veteran for them as well.
Absolutely. So the window's closed for you.
I'm done with Detroit.
Okay. That's a good question. We got to ask Ray. Number to get aboard is 855-212-4227. Again, Ray Jarvis believes the closed window for getting to the Super Bowl is appropriate for Detroit. I say there is still very much an opportunity for them there. They got to make some adjustments in their play calling decisions. but they got the horses. We saw them bounce back and get off the mat, being up 24-7, squandering that lead in the NFC title game to the 49ers in 2023, and then bouncing back to get a franchise best 15-2 the very next season. Let's get back to the phone lines at 855-212-4227. Let's get to Big L in Baltimore. Big L, good morning, man. What you got for us, sir?
I've been listening to you for about an hour, Shep. Happy New Year to you.
Thank you, Big L. Happy New Year to you, too. I'll still make an exception for you on the 19th.
Okay. Here, you sound like you're all hyper over this Detroit game. Calm down. Be happy. Don't worry. Be happy.
That's a great song, by the way. Don't worry.
Right.
Be happy.
Right. As far as the game, Shep, here's my opinion. It seems like the defense for Detroit let us down. Let it down. They didn't play. Goff didn't help the cause.
No, he didn't.
So you got to take that in consideration. And then I guess you're feeling the agony of defeat along with what's his name? The guy calls you from Go for Your Dreams.
Greg. Well, Big L, so I hear what you're saying about me being hyper. So in all seriousness, I feel for Detroit. I feel for them because this is a franchise that has been in the doldrums forever.
Do you think let me ask you this.
Sure.
Do you think they have some kind of curse?
No, I don't. Because everyone said that was the case for the Bambino curse. What,
Right.
all of a sudden it got eroded and the Red Sox win 4 World Series? I don't believe in that. I don't believe the Bills are cursed. I don't believe the Vikings are cursed. Everyone said that about the Saints, and what happened? They go get Drew Brees. 4 years later, they won a Super Bowl over
Right.
Peyton Manning. So
True,
I don't believe
true.
there's such thing as a curse. I believe they have the right guy. They just picked the wrong time in this season to have their worst game of the year. But Big L, yeah, I mean, I am, I don't want to say I'm unique in this regard, but I really do feel for fan bases as a host because I know how much it means to that community. I know what the Lions means to that
Right.
state in Michigan,
Right.
and I know how much heartbreak they've suffered because of this franchise. And this was their year. Everything was lined up. They had arguably the best offensive coordinator in the NFL, not named Andy Reid. They had Aaron Glenn, who many people believe is going to be a head coach next year. Everything was lined up for them. Amon-Ra St. Brown was having a career year. You know, Jared Goff was playing his best football. Sam Laporta was unbelievable. You had the great running combination of Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery. And you're talking about a team that should have been to the Super Bowl last year, but they completely squandered that by missing every single key fourth down against the 49ers in the second half in last year's NFC title game. So I do feel for Detroit. The Pistons have been down. The Tigers have been down. When's the last time the Red Wings have won a Stanley Cup?
Aren't they going through the same thing that Buffalo's been going through over the years?
Well, the difference is Buffalo at least has Super Bowl experience to speak of.
Right. But KC went through the same deal until Holmes and what's his name?
Andy Reid.
Travis
Kelce,
Reid.
also known as Taylor Swift's longtime boyfriend.
They seem to me they don't seem like they have what they had the year before.
I thought you were about to comment on Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift's relationship, and I was about to laugh my ass off, Big L.
Right. Another thing I believe, I don't gamble, but to me, my opinion is there's too much money bet on these games.
I agree.
One thing.
Yeah, I now there's going to be a lot of people that will tell you gambling's great for the business and it's great for talk radio and it's great for sports content. To me, Big L, I'm a purist. All I need are the games. I don't need all the bells and whistles. I love the aspect of the competition piece. I love the aspect of people coming together for a cause greater than themselves, and I love the spontaneity and excitement that comes with something that's unknown.
Let me say this. Can I mention this to you?
Go ahead.
The quarterback for D.C., the rookie.
Jaden Daniels.
Yeah, okay, the Daniels.
Yes.
Okay.
The 2023 Heisman winner.
Okay. Heisman Trophy winner, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Here's the thing I'm trying to get across. Back in '84, I think it was, you had you had the quarterback Dan Marino.
Yeah, that was his second year, and he went to the Super Bowl.
Was it his second year or his first year?
Second year. His rookie year was 80. Because remember, he was part of that great 83 class with him, Elway, and Jim Kelly.
The rap on him was he was the greatest thing ever come down the pike for a rookie quarterback. And he made it to the Super Bowl. Now, here you had Strauss last year. I don't know what his record was. I wish I knew what the record was.
I think he was 10-7. I think he was 10-7 last year, if memory serves it correctly. And he does have the distinction of being one of the only one of the only 2-year quarterbacks to win a playoff game both in his rookie and his second year. But Big L, he never did what Jaden Daniels did, which is not win just once, but twice in the postseason, in the same postseason.
Okay, but there's Marino went to the Super Bowl.
As a sophomore, yes.
But he couldn't pull it off against the 49ers.
And then he never famously got back.
Right. Would you blame they're talking about Seattle and Wilson?
Yeah. Well, we're going everywhere tonight, Big L.
Yeah. Well, if you can give me the time, if you don't mind.
Well, yeah. Let's go one more question, Big L. But I have enjoyed our conversation, sir.
Right. Me too. Same here. But again, be happy. Other than that, with the Seattle Wilson Super Bowl, you wouldn't blame Wilson. Didn't the coach tell him to rather than punch it in?
Yeah. Of course, that's a play call, and obviously there's still conversation about whether he audibled out of it or not. But the reality is, and listen, Malcolm Butler made an incredible interception, but it's still a bad throw, and ultimately that is on the arm of Russell Wilson. Now, Pete Carroll's going to get some of that blame. Bevel's going to get some of the blame as the offensive coordinator, but ultimately, the big takeaway for me there, Big L, is Russell Wilson and Seattle, they never recovered after that interception.
Well, listen, nice talking to you. Be happy,
too.
Shepard.
Thanks, Big L.
Talk to you soon.
You
all right?
too.
Talk
Big
to you
L,
later.
Big L, you're a wise individual, man. It was a pleasure, always. Okay, buddy? You have a good rest of your Sunday, sir, okay?
You too.
Thank you, Big L. Number to get aboard is 855-212-4227. Let's get to JR in California. JR, good morning, man. What you got for us? This isn't JR Sport Brief, is it?
No. Hey, Shep, it's not JR Sports. I
Gotcha.
wish it was.
That's right. Well, you seem like another cool JR.
Yeah. Hey, I'm not as good as the other callers. I want to keep this short and sweet.
Sure.
So basically, I just want to know what you think about, like, the pressure of a rookie quarterback playing in a playoff game. I know you mentioned, Big Ben and Flacco and I think Mark Sanchez.
It's funny, JR. We haven't brought up Mark Sanchez, and he was really good back in 2009 and 2010. I do remember that. The first time he lost to the Colts, the second time he lost to the Steelers, and he played out of his mind. And that was the peak of his NFL career. But he was. But I would say, as well as he played, the defense both times was the story. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
That's
Absolutely.
not now for Washington. They allowed the Lions to score 31 points.
Big time.
So the story is Jaden Daniels. That's the incredible component to this is when you look at
that's what I'm trying to get at. That's what I'm trying to get at. I'm trying to be like, the fact that you have, Goff out there who kind of has something to prove, getting traded from the Rams and, watching Stafford win the Super Bowl with the Rams and, him trying to prove something with Detroit and failing against the Niners and then not even making it to the NFC Championship game this year. What do you think about that? Like, does a rookie not having the pressure have a benefit to the playoff game versus a veteran who has something to prove? That's my question.
JR, can we both agree on this? When you're a rookie, I do feel like there's the aspect of you made the playoffs, you're playing with house money. You know what I mean?
Big time, yeah.
I do think there's some truth to that. I still think there's some semblance of pressure, though, no matter who you are. Because, and we just heard it from Big L in the last call, we take for granted what success means to so many people. JR, remember at the time, RG3?
Oh, yeah, man.
Ray, if I would have told you that was peak RG3, JR, if I were to tell you that was peak RG3 back in 2012, at the time, what would you both have told me?
Oh, man. That's a very good question.
Right? Like, Ray, you never would have anticipated That's the best RG3 by a mile would ever look in his NFL career. Ever.
I don't think Washington would have ever got back to what RG3 got him to.
Right. Like Dan Marino goes to a Super Bowl in his second year. Never makes it back. Brees. Drew Brees is another one that people don't mention. Now, I know he was later on in his career.
Yeah.
You're telling me we thought Drew Brees would never get back to a Super Bowl? Aaron Rodgers gets to a Super Bowl in his fourth year as a starter.
This is true.
Got there pretty quickly, considering how long he had to wait to, ultimately supplant Brett Favre. J.R. Ray, I never would have thought Rodgers would never get back to a Super Bowl.
We thought Rodgers would live in the Super Bowl at one point.
We did. And they had the best record the next year.
Yeah.
Remember that? And they got knocked off by the Giants in the divisional round. So JR, so to that point, even though he's a rookie, and even though Washington hadn't won a playoff game in 19 years, and they're already flying high into Ford Field, there's still pressure because you never know when your last moment is going to be there. You just don't.
Not to mention he did it on the road.
He did it on the road twice. He did it on the road twice, and I feel bad for Washington because they had the better record than Tampa. Clearly, they just ended up in the wrong division, playing behind Philly. So that's almost like justice to me. But I didn't see this coming. I didn't see them outscoring the Lions 28-14 in the second quarter. If you would have told me the score was 28-14, I would have thought that would have been the final, not the final after one quarter, but. JR from California, you may not be JR Sport Brief, man, but you know your sports.
Thank you. Hey, you too, man. But your knowledge is crazy. The way you pull out your knowledge and the years is amazing. This is why I listen to your
Thank you, JR.
show, man.
Appreciate that kind words, man. Call back anytime, man. Good going back and forth with you, JR. Number to get aboard is 855-212-4227. When we get back, we're going to hear from a astrology expert. But we're also going to hear from a very popular Lions fan. I'm very curious to hear how he's feeling at this particular moment. I'm hoping it's positive. That's the tease, Ray. This is the Good Shepherd on the Infinity Sports Network. We're coming right back.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. 2 minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. .45 seconds remaining. .30 seconds remaining. .15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
San Diego. Derek, good morning. What do you have for us, sir?
Mr. Shepard, the kindest, most generous national talk show host in the country. You're amazing, brother.
This is the Good Shepherd.
855-212-4227. That's the number to get in touch with us. The Infinity Sports Network.
Welcome back, everybody. David Shepard on the Infinity Sports Network. Number to get aboard is 855-212-4227. At the top of the hour, we're certainly going to delve into the Chiefs and Texans game, and no, it was not rigged. No, the refs did not give the game away to Houston. Let's get to Andrea in Berkeley. Andrea, we have a lot of questions from our YouTube chat. One is, can an astrology expert predict their own failures, courtesy of Drunkle Sam?
Yeah, I'm in the YouTube chat. It's awesome that you're on the YouTube chat, and I really enjoy chatting with all your listeners. It's really fun, very engaging.
Yeah.
And, yeah, I'm a Virgo, so I'm kind of critical and hard on myself. And
get in line.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that.
I know the story of my life, Andrea.
Yeah, I'm pretty critical about.
Yes.
I have
Yes.
very high Virgo standards, and in terms of predicting own failures, how I would kind of spin that is, we all have opportunities. And sometimes the path is a little more strewn with challenges, and other times we can optimize the really good times, and other times we'll mitigate the challenges. It's all about optimum timing. Life is timing, timing is life. So if we see some challenges coming up, we can be aware of them, awareness, acceptance, action, and that's the beauty of astrology. You have free will, but it's nice to know what's ahead, and if it's kind of challenging, you can be prepared, and if it's really, excellent and opportune, you could take full advantage of that.
Sure. Makes sense. Andrea, is the Lions Super Bowl window closed?
Well, I was I will answer that and need a little more research.
Okay.
I was just really happy about my fellow Virgo, Magic. They don't call him Magic for nothing. Patrick Mahomes.
I thought you were going Magic Johnson for a second there. Good.
Yeah.
Okay. Gotcha.
Magic Mahomes.
Right.
My fellow Virgo, September 17, 1995. He's a different year, but same September 17th. And 1995, he's having his Saturn return, which is a cycle of new beginnings. And people get married, divorce, have kids. And his wife, who's also a fellow Virgo, Brittany.
Yeah. By the way, good to see that relationship still going so strong.
isn't that sweet?
I saw them in a very lovey-dovey phase right before the game.
Oh, yeah, they sure did. And guess who is their aunt, Taylor Swift?
That's only in spirit. That's not in actuality.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. No. That's Auntie,
Let's see
for the
Taylor walk
baby.
down the aisle with Travis before we make them family.
Yeah. No. Your point is well taken.
Right.
But Taylor knitted the baby a baby blanket.
Did Taylor knit the baby a blanket, or was that one of Taylor's people doing that?
You know, I can't say for sure. She does have a lot of quote unquote people.
Yes, she does.
So I wouldn't be surprised.
I doubt Taylor took the time to knit something for their kid. That's just me. But it's a kind gesture nonetheless. I do know she does a lot of kind things for a lot of people.
Yes,
So good for her.
Yeah, I mean, it was great. I saw her with my favorite women's basketball player at the game.
Yeah, that wasn't preordained or anything like that.
Yeah, no, Caitlin Clark. That was so cool. I loved seeing them together.
Well,
and,
Caitlin Clark did she did the New Heights podcast with Travis and Jason.
Oh,
so they've developed a very close relationship. Yeah.
Oh, I'm glad. What is the podcast called?
It's called New Heights.
Oh, I'll have to check it out. I like Caitlin Clark a lot. I kind of fangirl out.
She's incredible. I'm really glad they took care of her stalker. Did you see that?
Yeah, I heard that. Yeah,
Yes.
I know she's an Aquarius.
The stalker was so crazy, Andrea.
Yeah.
That the first thing he uttered in court was guilty as charged. I'm not making this up, by the way.
Yeah, no, I heard about it, and
Right.
I saw it in the New York Post online. And
Right.
she's an Aquarius. You know, she can rise above it. I think she's January 22, 2002. And, she's a powerhouse. She has a very powerful chart, and she can
Got it.
rise above it.
So Andrea, let me get, it's always fun getting your astrology expertise. Let me get you out with this.
Yes.
We have, Greg in Michigan, right?
Was he on the YouTube chat?
Well, Greg in Michigan has been a long-time caller of the program.
Oh,
and
okay.
He goes on with Chris Cuomo all the time. He's well-known on the airwaves, and he's someone that is a really, really fervent Lions fan.
Okay.
Very big Detroit sports fan.
All right.
If you could give him a message of positivity right now, what would that be?
Well, the Lions, is that Jared Goff?
Yeah, yes.
Hello. Guess what? He went to Cal, and so did I.
Oh, look at that.
Different generation.
Of course. Of course.
Yeah. But
you're young at heart, Andrea. We all know that.
Well, you keep me young with all your callers and your fun, and I wish I was 20 years younger at times.
Well, listen, we all do, Andrea. But always a pleasure. Love the expertise. Love the knowledge. We'll talk soon. Enjoy the games today, okay?
Yes, thank you, and great show.
Thanks
so
Andrea.
much.
Appreciate the kind words. Always good to hear from you in Berkeley. Number to get aboard, 855-212-4227. All right, Mr. Positive, how we doing?
Oh, my God, Shep, baby. The wailing, the crying, the devastation. We are, oh, my God, we're drowning. It brought us together. The Lions, they brought us together.
Right.
They made this state, this city, Detroit. Eminem doesn't do a lot of stuff, but he's so behind us in Detroit.
Including smile at his daughter's wedding.
Yes. He normally doesn't do that, and he's definitely supportive of Mr. Positive. But
Really, you and Eminem are on a first name basis. Do you call him Marshall?
He knows of me because he grew up listening to me on the radio.
Okay.
And I know somebody that knows him real well, and I guess he's mentioned him.
Well, get him on the show then.
My God!
Let me go back and forth with Marshall Mathers. Greg,
definitely. Yeah, we're just.
Let me say this to you. This is. I'm not a Detroit sports fan. I'm not going to proclaim to be like other people, and you know who I'm referring to.
Right.
But I will say, this is a gut punch. This hurts. It's going to be a very bitter pill to swallow for weeks and potentially months to come. I do not believe that based on the bounce back we saw from the Lions this year, when they had every reason to revert backwards and go back to being the Detroit Lions of the last 20 years, they took a step further and did something they've never done in franchise history and go 15-2, and did that in the back half of their season, where 10-plus guys were missing from the defensive front, including what I believe is the figurehead of that defense in Aiden Hutchinson. I am not writing your Lions off. I know today is going to suck. I know the last 24 hours I shouldn't say the last 24 hours, but more appropriately, the last 8 hours has been a very tough thing for Detroit sports fans. This is not the end.
Oh, God. Shep, I hope not. It's just we might lose Glenn. We might lose Johnson. Danny needs those people, Campbell.
Sure.
It's just we're devastated. We're not. I don't know if we're going to be able to come back from this.
But Greg, weren't we saying? And I understand the coordinators are back. In other words, there were a lot of people that felt like Ben Johnson was gone last year, and he came back. So I understand that that's a different animal. But weren't the same people saying the same thing last year after losing up 24-7 in the NFC title game? There was no way the Lions were going to recover. You remember that?
Yeah, but it seems so different now because, like you said, we took an extra step, and to lose this way, just hopefully emotionally we can come back. Oh, Shep, baby, hey, love you. Thank you for taking my call, and everybody, go for your dream.
You the man, Greg. We love you, buddy. Always good to hear from Greg in Michigan. Number to get aboard is 855-212-4227. When we get back, we're going to continue to take all your calls. When we get to the top of the hour, we're certainly going to break down the Chiefs-Texans. No, not the Chiefs and the refs, the Chiefs and the Texans. We explain that at the top. We get to your calls. Before we do anything else, let's get to our latest sports flash. Not with Mr. Positive in Michigan, but Mr. Positive in New York. Here's Dexter Henry.
Infinity Sports Network Sports Flash.
All right, Dave. 6-game NBA slate on Saturday night in San Francisco. Andrew Wiggins scored a team-high 31 points, and Steph Curry, he dropped 26 before leaving the game in the final minutes with an ankle injury. As the Warriors, they beat the Wizards 122-114. Kevin Durant scored 30 of his 36 points in the second half. Devin Booker, he produced a 35-piece for his 5th consecutive 30-point game. And the Suns, they made it 5 wins in 6 games as they pushed past the Pistons 125-121. In Naptown, Pascal Siakam scored 10 of his 21 points in the fourth quarter. Miles Turner added 18 points and 11 boards. And the Pacers, they stopped the shorthanded Sixers 115-102. In Boston, Trae Young led 5 Hawks players in double-figure scoring with 28 points and 11 dimes. Dyson Daniels, he added 23 as the Hawks clipped the Celtics in overtime 119-115. The NBA leading Cavaliers, they got 36 points from Donovan Mitchell, 29 from Darius Garland. In Minneapolis, as Cleveland, they recorded their 35th win of the season, downing the Timberwolves 124-117. And in Portland, Jalen Green scored a game-high 26 points. Alperen Sengun recorded a double-double with 23 points and 15 boards. As the Rockets, they sent the Blazers to their 5th straight loss, winning 125-103. NFL playoffs continue Saturday with the divisional round in the Motor City. Jaden Daniels connected with his top wideout to give the Commanders the lead.
1st and 10 Washington. They're at their own 41-yard line. Snap to Daniels. Quick throw to the opposite side. Terry McLaurin got through 2 defenders. 50-40 by 40. 30 by 30. Foot race at the 20. 15, 10, 5. Stays on his feet. Touchdown! Touchdown, Washington! Aubrey on one by McLaurin!
Oh, my God. That's the Commanders radio network. The rookie QB found Terry McLaurin for a 58-yard score to give Washington a 17-14 lead, and they would go on to dump the Lions 45-31 to advance to the NFC Championship game. Over in the AFC, the Chiefs, they advanced to their 7th consecutive AFC title game. They halted the Texans 23-12. Big day for Travis Kelce in this one as he recorded 7 catches for 117 yards and a touchdown. I'm Dexter Henry.
This is the Infinity Sports Network. Check out our new and improved website at infinitysportsnet.com. That's infinitysportsnet.com.
You're in a 5-minute break. 4 minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. Forty-five seconds remaining. Thirty seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Let's get to Dave in Chicago.
First of all, you're on fire tonight, Shep.
I love the energy. I'm going to let the takes stand on their own because you are on fire tonight.
This is the Good Shepherd.
855-212-4227. That's the number to get in touch with us, the Infinity Sports Network.
Welcome, everybody. David Shepard on the Infinity Sports Network. Great to have you back. Number to get aboard, 855-212-4227. If you can't get through the busy phone lines, you can always follow me at Shep On Air on any social media platform, not TikTok apparently. And you can always get us on our YouTube chat for every single second we do the show. And if you're missing the show live, you can always catch every single second of the replay on YouTube on the Infinity Sports Network page. Number to get aboard again, 855-212-4227. When we get to the top of the hour, we're going to continue to take your calls. Also going to break down Chiefs-Texans. No, not Chiefs and the referees versus the Texans. Let's get to Glenn in Niagara Falls. Glenn, always appreciate the patience, buddy. Always good to have you. What you got for us, man? And yes, I know you told us. I know I was wrong.
Okay, I'm not here to gloat. I mean, that's what makes sports fun, right? Because we go. Just remember, who was the caller that last second said that Pittsburgh's going to beat the Ravens? So
that's true.
So I don't really have much.
That's true.
I don't have much. Right. I don't know what I was thinking about. I almost didn't call back after that. But anyways, no, I find, Goff, as I said yesterday, that in, some of the more important games, he has some of his worst games. And it's not all on Goff, but certainly
a lot of it is, though. To your point, he was atrocious. He was.
But I made that comment last night. I've seen him, throw interceptions, just not be the Goff we've seen all season when it's been important games, and that is concerning. Unlike Ray, by the way, I hope Ray has a bucket of water by him because I do hope you're not seriously on fire, because if you are, he can put you out, right? So he better have a bucket with him. Anyway,
well, Ray's on the opposite side of the glass. He'd have to have some kind of technology to be able to put out a fire if I'm on fire, by the way.
Hey, I only have so many superpowers.
Exactly.
But I have to disagree with Ray. I don't think their window is closed.
I agree.
I wouldn't go quite there.
Right.
They their defense have been decimated with injuries. There's no doubt about it.
Oh, without question.
I do agree you can't make those excuses. I know I've made this comment before too. The one part of sports I hate are injuries. You'd like to see each team play each other at their full potential. Like I said 2 years ago with the Bills were decimated. The defense, they were pulling guys out of the parking lot to put on defense.
Right. Now, Glenn, with that being said, and I was arguing the same thing. With 14 guys out on defense, you still got to know when 12 guys are coming on the field.
Well, that's true. And
you still got to know that you shouldn't be doing an end around with Jamison Williams when you're already moving the football and he's throwing it into double coverage. There's still things that were colossal, egregious mistakes on their part that cost them this game. Without having those defensive stalwarts, they still should have won this game.
I don't know about should have. I mean, they could have.
They should have.
I don't think you're giving enough credit to Washington. I do think maybe the week off did hurt them. I also think when Washington had the luxury of playing a very, very tight game last week, so any bad play that they made last week could have got them out of this game. So meaning they wouldn't have made it to this game.
Sure.
So I think that's a plus for a team. I do believe a lot that young players as they're growing into the league, and we talked about this with the LA Rams and their defense and their young defense, that when they start having these achievements in the NFL, it builds confidence. And if there's one team I wouldn't want to play, it's a team with a bunch of young talent that has confidence, and that's what I was looking at yesterday with Washington and Jane Daniels. I mean, he seems unflappable, which that is a talent in itself. So the guy's a Heisman winner. He's obviously very, very skilled.
But Glenn, the thing that's amazing about him, and I referenced this in the beginning, he won the Heisman. But he won the Heisman because of how talented he was, not because of the winning he did, which is what makes this even more remarkable. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because he didn't play a meaningful game past the month of September. They were basically eliminated from the college football playoff contention. So he won that just on just basic skill and just God-given talent. But for him to be this smooth, this sophisticated, this calm, this poised in games that are coming down to the wire, and he's out there grinning like he's playing football in his backyard. I've never seen a rookie look this good in the postseason in my life. Have you?
No, I agree, and I think coaching has a lot to do with that. They've obviously put him in the right spot. The players believe in him. That's a big part of it too. But certainly, I do think coaching. I mean, you look at our friend in Chicago with lack of coaching, and what are the people in Chicago saying tonight after watching Jaden's performance?
Well, they're not saying anything. They're probably drinking. They ain't saying a lot. You know what I mean?
But yeah, I agree with you. But I do feel so bad for everyone in Detroit because I'm happy for a rookie to see him achieve what Jaden did, but at the same time, man, oh man, when's it going to be Detroit's time? It really, it's the same for Buffalo tomorrow. Like, there's going to be two teams tomorrow, of which one of them is going to be major downer for that city.
I can't wait. I cannot wait for that game, Glenn. I am. That might be the game of the year. That's going to be
Baltimore. Baltimore, though, I'm just saying. They've won a Super Bowl before, so
they've won multiple ones before, right? They've won multiple ones. So, Glenn, we're up against it, obviously, man. Love you, brother. Always good to talk to you, man. We'll talk next weekend. Enjoy the games.
Let's go, Buffalo, and Bills are going to win.
Marv Levy is singing that tune right now, Glenn. Always good to hear from you, my friend. Number to get aboard is 855-212-4227. We will get to all your calls on the other side. Also, the top of the hour, congratulations. All hail the Chiefs, not the refs. We explain why next. Shep on the Infinity Sports Network. We're coming right back.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. 2 minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. Forty-five seconds remaining. Seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Reason that you had to care, the traffic is stuck and you're not moving anywhere. You thought you found a friend to take you out of this place, someone you can lend a hand in return for grace. It's a beautiful day.
Back to the Good Shepherd.
Back to the Good Shepherd indeed. Welcome back, everybody. Hour number 3. Great to be with you, however and wherever you may be listening from. You could be catching us on our YouTube chat. You could be checking us out on SiriusXM channel 375. You could be getting us for free on the Odyssey app. You could be getting us on your local affiliate. However and wherever you may be listening from, it is always a pleasure to be with you each and every Sunday morning, 2 a.m. to 6 a.m. Eastern Time, on the Infinity Sports Network. We're going to get back to your calls momentarily. I do want to address one thing about the Chiefs and Texans. There's been a lot of conversation, a lot of dialogue, a lot of narrative, a lot of people throwing their weight around saying that this game was rigged. First of all, congratulations to the Texans on getting by the Chargers in the first place and getting to this point. I did not have the Texans beating the Chargers in the first place. I did not see them finishing that game on a 32-6 run. I did not see C.J. Stroud stepping up and playing as well as he did, and Nico Collins following in fold. I did not have the Texans ultimately in this place because they struggled at the end of the year. They were 4-5 in their last 9 games. They were 0-4 against their last 4 winning teams. So for them to be at this point, kudos to the Texans. With that being said, they're not in the same league as the Chiefs. You see that playing Patrick Mahomes is much different than going against Justin Herbert. Patrick Mahomes doesn't turn the ball over. Patrick Mahomes doesn't cost his team. He makes the simple play. He gets out of bounds when he has to. He slides when he has to. And he finds the open man. Easier said than done, by the way. There's a lot of people saying that this game was rigged and that the Texans had no shot because the refs were against them. We're talking about 2 plays. 2 plays in which the calls were somewhat questionable. I'll agree. One of those calls was even egregious. Downright atrocious, if you will. Because the 2 Texans collided into each other, didn't even hit Patrick Mahomes, and they were still called for roughing the passer. Should have never been the call. I grant you that. But let's also acknowledge and reward what we're witnessing and what is in front of our eyes. And that is arguably what could be the greatest dynasty in the history of the NFL. There has been no team ever to run off 3 straight Super Bowl victories. We may be witnessing that. And the Chiefs were the better team in this one. That's what it comes down to. Patrick Mahomes was the much better quarterback than C.J. Stroud. Patrick Mahomes was leading the Chiefs in rushing in the first half. He was doing everything. And so when Andy Reid talks about this win, he's right.
I'm proud of our guys for how they handled it. And we knocked a little of the rust off. Everybody stayed positive and with each other and that whole bit. And here we sit with a championship game. I mean, we're humbled to be in that position. And fortunate, we appreciate that we're right here at Arrowhead.
Scott Van Pelt, obviously a famous SportsCenter anchor. He does the SVP at night. He's got an expression for what has become the AFC title game, and it's the Arrowhead Invitational, and he's right. Patrick Mahomes is now 7-0 in divisional round matchups. I mean, what's the only certainty in life? Death and taxes, and I think third is now Patrick Mahomes in the AFC title game. It's true. Yes, there were questionable calls made by the referees in reference to being in favor of the Chiefs and being against the Texans. You get no argument from me there. Did it come back to bite the Texans? Absolutely. Is that what cost them the game? No. Travis Kelce had the most touchdown receptions in this game. He had the most receptions in this game. He had the most reception yards by far in this game. The dude's 35 years old. How do you allow him to get more wide open than a casino after a prize fight? I mean, forget the fact that he was wide open in coverage. There was no one even in his vicinity. The Texans actually outgained the Chiefs by 50 yards in the first half. Yet what was the difference? Why were the Chiefs up 13-6? Because Travis Kelce caught a season-high 49-yard not touchdown, but reception, and he had the whole field to work with. There was no one in sight of him. That's not on the referees. It's not on the referees that C.J. Stroud was sacked not once, not twice. I won't count all the numbers, but 8 times. It's not on the referees that they missed 2 field goals and an extra point. When C.J. Stroud dropped back 42 times, 21 different occasions because of the genius of Steve Spagnuolo, who I believe deserves another opportunity to be a head coach, got pressure on him. That's not on the referees. That's on the lack of intensity and capability, ultimately, of the Houston Texans that, quite frankly, are not exactly up to par with the underappreciated Kansas City Chiefs. The Patriots got the benefit of the doubt when they were winning Super Bowls in the 2000s. Same with the Cowboys in the 90s, 49ers in the 80s, Steelers in the 70s, Packers in the 60s, and I'm sure the Bears when they were winning titles with Papa Bear Hallis in the 40s. Okay? When you are the better team and you are the best team in the league, the calls are going to go in your favor. It's how this works, folks. It happened with the Bulls in the 90s. It's happening now even to this day with the Warriors. Even though they sucked the last couple years, they're still in the Steph Curry dynasty mode. So they get the benefit of the doubt, especially when they're at the Chase Center. It's not Oracle anymore, obviously. When you're at home, you're going to get the benefit of the doubt. That's probably going to be the case for the Bills when they're at Orchard Park on Sunday. So this whole notion that the referees fix this game, that the NFL and Goodell and his comrades want to see the Chiefs in the Super Bowl, rubbish. Yes, be critical of the referees. Fair game. They did not get those calls right. They were questionable at best, egregious at worst. But that's not what cost the Chiefs the opportunity to represent the AFC title game. That's not what ultimately cost the Texans their season. It's the fact that they could not keep up with Kansas City, and every single time over the middle, Travis, don't call me Taylor Swift's longtime boyfriend, Kelce, was wide open. That's why they lost. Because Travis Kelce was by far the biggest weapon on the field. And Patrick Mahomes understands how to not take sacks. He understands when to throw it away. He also understands how to utilize his legs when that's being asked because they're taking all his options away in the passing game. That's what makes him Patrick Mahomes. There's a reason why, outside of Tom Brady, nobody has more playoff wins, including Joe Montana. There's a reason why Patrick Mahomes at 16-3 is not just the second winningest, but the winningest quarterback all time in terms of percentage in the history of the postseason. This is the guy. So, of course, the Texans are going to fall short. It's not solely predicated because the referees have it out for them. And this is where you got to credit Patrick Mahomes because he's not going to make it about himself. He's not going to make it about the referees. He's actually going to give some love to his head coach in Andy Reid, who is now the fourth coach ever in NFL history to accumulate 300 wins. Let's hear from let's hear from Patrick right after the win.
He's just a great person. I'm more than a great coach. He's just a great person, and guys want to play for a guy like that. And he's been so instrumental in making me who I am, and I owe him a lot of pretty much all of my success. And so I told him that we need to get to 302 though before this year, and then we can worry about next year.
Ray, does he sound more or less like Kermit in 2024?
He sounds less Kermit than he did when he first came on the scene.
Okay. Fair enough.
I just want to throw something your way because you were absolutely cooking, and I feel like as much as you were cooking, you could cook some more.
Oh.
We want to complain about
is that a backhanded compliment?
No, you're cooking.
Or a kind insult? I'm trying to decipher.
Right I want to cook alongside you.
Go for it.
As
long as if I'm Bobby Flay and you're Emerald Lagasse.
That's fine.
Okay.
All of this complaining about the referees.
And where's Julia Childs? I'm sorry, keep going.
And who does what, and it's not fair. It's the Chiefs. Late in the second half, you talked about schemes. You talked about decision-making by the coaching staff of the Texans. Then I need the Texans fans to come to the front of the line. I need DeMeco Ryans to come to the front of the line.
He did. He took accountability. He did not put it on the refs.
I need some more.
Unlike that punk defensive end, Will Anderson Jr.
Come on now.
He's a punk.
Late in that third quarter and into the fourth quarter, George Karlaftis had a feast on C.J. Stroud.
3 sacks.
He was at the Stroud buffet.
Yes.
And I need to understand, while you guys cry about referees,
right,
can you explain to myself and Shep why you had a tight end and a running back on Karlaftis as he continuously entered that buffet?
That's a great point.
I need to understand that.
Well, that goes to what I was saying about the 8 sacks. How do you give up 8 sacks? And by the way, not just that, 42 times, Ray, he drops back, and he is pressured half the amount of times he drops back. That's not on the referees. Now, listen, Spagnuolo, we love him. We understand they're a top 5 defense year in and year out with him. I don't understand for the life of me why he doesn't have a second head coaching opportunity. I think it's really Bush League. The defensive end, Will Anderson Jr., after the fact, is saying we were playing against the refs. I think it's sour grapes. This is where you love the leadership. Very sour. This is where, although there's nothing really wrong with sour grapes, although it's probably not good for your digestive system, if we're being honest, this is where I really love DeMeco Ryans. He's the right guy for this team because this is where you need calmer and cooler heads to prevail. This is where you need that leadership, that voice in the locker room to make common sense be common. And he is right after the game when he does not put this loss on the stripes and the zebras, but he puts it on the self-inflicted wounds and the lack of coverage and protection that they apparently did not want to give to their star quarterback, C.J. Stroud.
We had a lot of self-inflicted mistakes that happened, whether it's special teams not converting our kicks, defensively not being where we're supposed to be in coverage, all offensively not protecting our quarterback and keeping them clean. So, you marry that on top of everything else that we have to deal with. It's going to be a really tough uphill battle. Obviously, we're not good enough to beat a really good football team, right? So when we can do the things we need to do consistently and all the time, that's when we'll be able to, come here and be in this spot and win a football game. But unfortunately, we still got things to clean up of our own.
The biggest thing you can do in life is own up to your mistakes. And there's so many people walking around that thinks their blank doesn't stink, and it smells and it reeks, and they don't even know it. It takes a real man to admit when you fall down And when you're responsible for you falling and ultimately promising and pledging to get back up, I love myself some D'Amico Ryans. I love that guy. Doesn't get talked about a lot in terms of the upper echelon head coaches. I love the job that he's done for Houston, and he was a great player, by the way.
He was.
He really was. Ray, I know you don't think their Super Bowl window's closed.
Not at all. In fact, I think that this is just the beginning because I look at D'Amico Ryans, I look at that young group, and you look at their receiving corps besieged by injury. D'Amico Ryans is a leader of men.
Absolutely.
And I think in this current model of the NFL, as much as we love X's and O's, the leaders of men win championships.
So Andy Reid qualifies as a leader of men without question.
Absolutely.
He's not the walk in the room stature type of individual. He prefers cheeseburgers more than anything else. And I'm not saying that as an insult. That he'll be the first person to admit that. But he's a leader of men in that, Ray. There has never been a time, whether it's all his years in Kansas City or all his years in Philadelphia as a head coach, he has ever once put a loss on a player or a coordinator. Everything stops with him.
As it should be.
It's why Mick Cronin, by the way, and I know I'm going off a total tangent right now, how many times is this freaking guy going to bitch about his players not being tough enough? Enough's enough, Mick.
Until he gets fired.
Well, listen, that's another guy that thinks his blank doesn't stink. He's still high off that Final Four 20 years ago.
There it is.
Like, come on, Mick Cronin.
And
at some point, your team's not tough because you're not instilling toughness in them.
And that's why I give it to D'Amico because he's young enough to connect with the younger
He's
players.
young, man. He's close to our age, by the way.
But still old enough to command the room. And as a person who's dealt with younger people, you have to find a way to bridge that gap. And
100%.
I believe that he's the perfect guy for that locker room. And you look at the way they rose to the you mentioned a stat about them not playing well against upper tier competition.
0-4 against the last 4 winning teams they played in the 2024 regular season. Not a good resume to come into for the postseason.
But they rose to the occasion, and I think that comes back to him getting his guys ready to play.
Sure.
That Chargers game, they showed up. And quite frankly, there was some questionable coaching decisions, but I look at the plays and say those guys came to play against Kansas City. And they outgained KC by 100 yards.
They lost by 9.
Yeah.
Right? So it's still a relatively competitive game, and they outplayed the Chiefs in the first half. The difference in the game, the Chiefs made the big play.
Yeah.
Texans did not. And Travis Kelce was vintage Kelce. And as much as I hate this expression, he is playoff Travis. I'll give it to him.
There it is.
I'll give it to him. What's he, first ever in receptions?
He has to be first
in the history of the
everything at this
postseason,
point.
like eclipsing Jerry freaking Rice.
Yeah.
Who does that as a tight end? Apparently Taylor Swift's boyfriend. Number to get aboard is 855-212-4227. My question for you is this. When you really look at the Texans' loss to the Chiefs, how much blame do you assign to the referees? Or are you in the camp of myself and Ray Jarvis, where you look at this game and say, yeah, the referees didn't exactly make the best calls when it came to the Texans, but that's not the reason why the Texans came up short in this version of their division round matchup. And what you need to see from C.J. Stroud moving forward is being a better decision maker, going back to the way he was as a rookie when he had an all-time great regular season as a rookie quarterback. Let's get to a friend of the show, Tommy in New Orleans. Tommy, thanks for your patience, buddy. I see the tweets that you're sending my way, so clearly you're watching the YouTube stream. How you doing, man? It's been a while.
David Shepard, como se va, my man? How are you?
Doing well, brother. Always good to hear from you, man.
Listen, first and foremost, my condolences to our fellow comrade over there, Greg in Michigan, man. I know what that's like, dude. It sucks. Straight up, it sucks. And quite simply, though, I think the Lions just got a little too cute, and they started gripping a little bit, and then the hit on Goff right before the end of the first half.
Yeah, I saw you tweet me at that, but and by the way, you talk about the refs botching a call. That pick six never should have counted because that was a cheap shot on Jared Goff.
Well, I'm going to respectfully disagree with you on that, Dave. I think that was a clean hit because, and I make that point because
Tommy, he went to his head. He went to his head, though.
You cannot expect a defender to alter his trajectory when Goff was not holding. Goff's a free agent at that point, man. He is fair game.
No, but Tommy, you can't headhunt though. It doesn't matter if it's a
but-
quarterback. It doesn't matter if it's a defensive player. It doesn't matter if it's a punter, a kicker, whoever it is. He went after
understand that,
Goff's
David,
head,
but
man.
It's fair game, and we both know this, okay? And that's how it goes. However, I will say that the refs did, in fact, cause some, incongruence, if you will, in that game. There was a BS interference call against the Lions in the end zone, and the guy tripped over his own feet, and they called it interference, and they wanted him to get a touchdown. It didn't really have an impact in the game, so at that point, but it certainly did. So I agree with you that the referees have impacted these games, but I will also say that, these calls occur every week, but now they're just magnified, right? And now, everybody's, on it and everything like that. And yeah, did Mahomes get a call? Yes, they did. Yes, he did. But that's the way it goes, just like you said. So that's all I have to say about that. My condolences to Greg in Michigan, and I appreciate the Zodiac lady calling up and offering her condolences. And I expect to hear from Beck in Florida anytime now.
Oh, listen, I have a feeling Beck. We will hear from Beck by the end of the show.
Yeah, but I don't know
the way I know we'll hear from Beck is on the topic. The topic will just be blank.
I don't know how sympathetic Beck's going to be, though. The other guy mentioned some kind of a bucket of water for Greg. He might put Greg's.
There's the only
sure.
certainty with Beck is that whatever he says to the executive producer of what he's going to discuss is never going to be on the docket for what he's going to discuss. That's the only certainty I know.
And listen, the biggest disappointment for me in the Detroit losing is I thought that they had the best shot at beating Kansas City, because I don't think anybody's going to beat Kansas City coming out.
Oh, man. Well, first of all, Tommy, remember, you saw that regular season matchup between them and the Bills, right?
I did.
So you know the Bills are capable. And the Bills are capable, then the Ravens have to be capable, because the Ravens completely kicked their ass 35-10 in week 4, and the Ravens have only gotten significantly better since.
I expect that, because I know you voted 16 times for Lamar Jackson to be MVP over Josh Allen.
I'm not here to confirm or deny, but yes, I absolutely gave my MVP vote to number 8, because you can't deny what this man has done. As great as Josh Allen is, and as lovable as he is, and as wonderful as he is to the Buffalo community. Like, Lamar is the most disrespected NFL superstar. Do you realize that Justin Herbert has been dog crap in the postseason? And the way we talked about Justin Herbert compared to Lamar is night and day. We've stopped talking about Justin. When Lamar would have a postseason gaffe or loss he never should have suffered, we talked about him for weeks. I haven't heard the name Justin Herbert in about a week.
Well, it's because you pronounced his name wrong. It's Justin Hebert, dude. That's why.
Oh, that must be it. That must be it. That's why.
All right, that was a joke. I didn't say it was a good joke.
Well, Tommy, you're such a good guy that I'm never going to judge you on your jokes. And they're not all going to land.
You're very kind. Listen, David, what did Taylor Swift and Caitlyn have in common at all?
I'm not taking the bait.
Okay,
I'm not going
right.
there. But listen, what I will say in this, in all seriousness, you're gonna get me in trouble. What I will say is all this in all sincerity. Taylor Swift, she does a lot of good things for humanitarian purposes, and she's selfless, and she's kind, and she's benevolent and generous. I think she is. Oh my God, I'm getting in trouble for saying this. I think she's very overrated as a vocalist, if I'm being honest. I think she's a gifted songwriter, but I think she's one of the most overrated musicians we've ever had. And that's not
agree with you more.
Listen, I'm going to get killed for this, but I'm just going to be honest, Swifties. I recognize that she stands for something a lot more important than just music. I get that she's about empowerment. I understand that she's about overcoming obstacles and bad relationships, and she's wonderful to her fans, and I recognize all that. And she's very talented. But for her to have as many Grammys as she does, and for somebody like Miley Cyrus to just get her first this year is a complete disgrace, if you ask me. It is. And Taylor Swift is not in the same ballpark. She's not in the same universe as Whitney or Celine or Christina or Carrie. It's not even close. Or Ariana, if you want to go even modern day.
Aretha.
Well, I mean, not even. No, it's not even. It's not even close. It's not even close.
Taylor is what she is, and I respect the hell out of her. God bless her, but I am in 100% agreement with you. I am a musician myself.
Yeah.
And musician-wise, and look, she may be a prolific songwriter. I have no idea.
She's a very gifted songwriter. I mean, I wish she would be a little bit multidimensional and didn't talk so much about her past relationships.
I don't know.
And by the way, Tommy, like Tommy, I'm not. Look, she's an incredible success story. There's no question she's gifted in songwriting, and she's very talented. But for her to be world-renowned and for her to have college courses being, taught in her name about her life, it's way too much. If you're going to do that about Muhammad Ali. Damn, I mean, do it about Caitlin Clark, for God's sakes. But Taylor Swift?
Do it about you, David.
No, I'm not. Listen, I'm not stupid. I have not accomplished what Taylor Swift has accomplished. I haven't come close. And
that's all relative. That's debatable.
Right.
We'll see about that.
Right.
Hey, I got a new nickname for Travis Kelsey.
What's that? Can't commit to Taylor?
No, 7-Eleven, because he's open like 7-Eleven.
That's a good one.
All day long.
I was thinking about because when I think about this stuff and I say, what am I going to say to really emphasize what makes Travis Kelce so open? I said, well, the most open thing I can think of is a casino after a prize fight, because they know everyone's going to be coming in right after. But that's even a better example. 7-Elevens are always open.
They got him open like 7-Eleven, dude. That's it.
But he's not as cheap.
David,
but he's not as cheap. That's the problem.
You take that. If you use that, and that becomes a trademark. Whatever. That's all yours, bro.
Thanks, Tommy.
30% is all I ask for.
I just want to say,
hey, listen, man, you keep plugging, and you look great. My man Ray looks great. And God bless y'all, and we'll see you in New Orleans for the Super Bowl, all right?
Oh, always love you. Always love going back and forth with you, Tommy. Appreciate you from New Orleans.
Check this out, Shep.
You have a good rest of your morning, brother. What you got, Ray?
If you listen very closely right now, you hear some footsteps approaching you.
Yeah.
Those are the Swifties. They found you, and they're on the way. I just want to let you know that.
I didn't say anything offensive.
They're going to chase you down.
Wait a minute. You're telling me Taylor Swift is not one of the most overrated entertainers of the 21st century?
By the Swifties on your own.
Wait a minute.
I think Taylor Swift is
Ray,
God's gift.
Do you really?
No.
She's not. Listen,
not at all.
Listen, there are look. I will be honest with you. Like, there's certain people that we hold in high regard. I don't think Will Ferrell's that funny.
No.
People think he's like the greatest comedian of all time. Dave Chappelle just did SNL last night. That to me, that's another comedian Nico probably hasn't heard of. That he's never heard of Richard Pryor.
Sideswipe.
How can you be as smart as he is and have never heard of Richard Pryor or Ronnie Dangerfield? It's like, what world are we living in? That Nico Scarlato is one of the best producers we have. No, stop it. He's young.
He's a kid.
Wait a minute. Am I not supposed to have heard of Sanford and Son because I wasn't alive when it was made?
That's your era.
Wait, that's not my era. I wasn't alive when that was made,
Your
Ray.
parents were. They
Ray,
raised you right.
His parents were not alive when Ronnie Dangerfield was having hit after hit after hit movie.
Will Ferrell movies. I don't know.
His parents are not. I don't know how old his parents are, but I'm old enough. Listen. When I was coming up, that's when Will Ferrell was coming up. So his parents can't be that young.
I tried to give him a little bail. I'm sorry.
Okay. Poor Nico. Number to get aboard. I love that man, by the way. Nico's the best, man. So it's nothing but love. Now, number to get aboard is 855-212-4237. No, in all seriousness, Nico, I was so shocked by that because he's one of the best producers we have here, and he's so knowledgeable. And he literally has never heard of Rich again. Oh my God. Number to get aboard is 855-212-4227. When we get back, we will not talk about people that have never heard of Richard Pryor. We will continue to get to your calls on the other side, and we will certainly preview the Bills and the Ravens. That might very well be. It's not the Super Bowl. It's not the AFC title game, but it could be the most riveting game we have of the entire 2024 NFL season, postseason included. We explain why next. Shep on the Infinity Sports Network. You can always follow me at Shep on Air. If you cannot get through our busy phone lines, you can always catch us on the YouTube stream, and we're coming right back.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. 4 minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. Forty-five seconds remaining. Thirty seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
You have one of the best shows on radio. Your sports knowledge is unbelievable. I love listening to your show on my way home from work on Saturday night.
This is the Good Shepherd. 855-212-4227. That's the number to get in touch with us. The Infinity Sports Network.
Welcome back, everybody. David Shepard on the Infinity Sports Network. Great to be with you, however and wherever you may be listening from. When we get to the top of the hour, we will certainly preview Ravens and Bills. I believe that is going to be the matchup so far of the NFL season, maybe the matchup when it's all said and done of 2024. Also, we have the Packers And they're not going anywhere, unfortunately. We thought it was going to be the Packers. But instead, it is going to be the Eagles who dismantled the Packers against the surprising Rams. The Rams start the season under 500. They end up, I believe they were 5-6 in their first 11 games. They finished the year 6-1 and find themselves in the divisional round of the NFL playoffs. Nobody saw them getting by a 14-win team in the Minnesota Vikings. Apparently, no one saw Sam Darnold play in New York. A little bit of a cheap shot, but true nonetheless. Let's get back to the busy phone lines at 855-212-4227. Let's get to Dan in California. Dan, hope you're having a good morning so far. What you got for us, sir? Yeah, I would agree with that. Yeah, I do think the Lions had a collapse, but we also have to give credit where credit's due. I think Jaden Daniels played his behind off, and again, there's never been a more impressive rookie performance in the history of the postseason. What's that? I know. I'm with you there. I'm with you. Anything else? Any parting words? Okay. Well, thank you, Dan. I appreciate the compliment. You as well. Thank you. You there?
I am, yes.
Dan, go ahead, man.
Yeah, hang on. Let's see. 107 minutes.
Come on, Dan.
It was worth the wait.
Well, Dan, I was literally about to hang up, man. So you got on just in time. Go ahead, my friend.
Hey, Detroit Lions.
Yes, sir.
Sad state of affairs, but I agree with you and most everybody. I think they'll keep it together. I think they'll keep their window open. And, man, they just got to learn how to play tough at the end.
They certainly know how to lose.
Yeah, they know how to lose.
Right. It's unfortunate, yeah.
I wanted to emphasize something. It's multifaceted, as always, why they lost. Something nobody brought up, and maybe you did and I missed it, but their offensive coordinator is basically hired somewhere. We don't know where, but there's a gentleman's agreement somewhere. I'm sure of it.
You think he mailed this game in?
Well, I think it happened to Washington's coach. Well, he lost to Tom Brady, greatest quarterback ever, maybe outside of Joe Montana.
Well, he lost to Tom Brady after. Let
points ahead.
Dan, but let's give context though. It's not that he lost to Tom Brady. It's that he squandered a 28-3 lead to Tom Brady, in which he basically was overseeing the biggest collapse in the history of the Super Bowl.
Right. And he did that because he was way too conservative.
Yes.
The Philadelphia Eagles against Brady, they beat him in the Super Bowl. And they did it because they were against being conservative.
Sure.
I didn't even watch that game because I was tired of seeing England win so many Super Bowls.
Right. Well, I'm glad you had to stick around to see them win another two, basically. Then.
Well, yeah, and that one against the Rams, boy, that was a stinker.
That was one of the worst Super Bowls I've ever seen.
Goff.
Yeah.
So now, so Goff shit the bed, if I can say that on air.
Well, we can't. So I'm gonna dump that, and you can turn the phone pot back on. I dumped it, but you can turn that back on. Dan, we can't. Dan, we can't say that word, but I appreciate at least you being somewhat polite about it. But no, we can't say that on the FCC airwaves.
Okay.
Yeah.
My apologies.
You can say they spit the bed.
Disgusting.
You can't say the other S word in reference to what they do in the bed. Moving forward.
Oh, okay. Yeah. No, I don't like that word anyway.
So why'd you use it? You like the word enough to use it on our airwaves and have us dump, for God's sakes.
So not only did he take forever to speak, then he tries to jam us up with bad language. Come on, Dan.
I could say he took a big dump on the bed. I could get away with
that. Dan, dump that. Dan, just get away from this reference. Finish the call. What do you have for us, Dan? Finish.
Yes, okay. It was his fault, but I think also the OC's fault. I think he did not call a good game. He's known for calling great games. I think he did not call a great game. He did not use his personnel the way he could have.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. Dan, listen,
all I want to say.
You didn't start great. You had a rough middle, but you landed the plane and the dismount. So well done.
Thank you, sir. And as far as KC, they're not cheating. The NFL is not the WWE. It's
I agree.
not big-time wrestling. It's never been scripted. I've been watching NFL football since 1970. I have never seen that happen. Yeah, I mean, there was the Tuck Rule game where my Raiders got posed.
Yeah.
But, that was just a borderline call. So, there's certain calls that, can be bad, but the referees are human beings. They're not computers out there.
No, they're not.
So,
there's always going to be flaws in human error. Dan, I agree with you, but we've reached the expiration date on this phone call at this particular time, Dan. But thank you again for taking the time to call. It was good to go back and forth with you. And like I said, you landed the dismount, man. Enjoy the games today, all right?
Okay, I certainly will.
Thanks, Dan. Appreciate it, man. Number to get aboard is 855-212-4227. I want to give enough time to people that have been waiting on the phone lines patiently, so when we get back, we're going to take your calls. At the top of the hour, we're certainly going to preview everything. Ravens, Bills, and, of course, Eagles and Rams. If you can't get through on our busy phone lines at 855-212-4227, you can hit us up if you want to comment on anything we're talking about on the show on our YouTube chat, and you can certainly hit me up on any social media platform at Shep On Air. Before we take your calls and talk Ravens and talk Bills, let's get to our latest sports flash. No, it's not going to be anything about you-know-what blanking the bed. It's going to be appropriate. Let's get to Dexter Henry.
Infinity Sports Network Sports Flash.
All right, thank you. We kicked this one off with playoff football as the divisional round kicked off on Saturday with a doubleheader. In Kansas City, the two-time defending Super Bowl champs, they moved a step closer to another trip to the big game.
They have third down and goal to go at the 11.5-yard line of Houston. Three receivers to the right. Mahomes stepping up again, tries to throw. Line caught! Touchdown! Kansas City! Travis Kelce owning this game. An 11-yard touchdown. Playoff Pat to playoff Kelce, and the Chiefs lead 19-12.
That's the Chiefs Radio Network. Extra point will put the Chiefs up 20-12. Patrick Mahomes threw for 177 yards. 117 of those yards went to tight end Travis Kelce, who hauled in a TD score. Kareem Hunt rushed for another score as Kansas City bounced the Texans 23-12 to advance to the AFC Championship game for the 7th straight season. For Houston, their season ends, and head coach DeMeco Ryans says his team has work to do if they are to defeat the elite teams in the league.
Obviously, we're not good enough to beat a really good football team, right? So when we can do the things we need to do consistently and all the time, that's when we'll be able to, come here and be in this spot and win a football game. But unfortunately, we still got things to clean up of our own.
The Chiefs, they will now await the winner of the Bills and Ravens on Sunday. In Detroit, rookie quarterback Jaden Daniels looked like a poised veteran in his second playoff game. Daniels completed 22 of 31 passes for 299 yards and also threw for 2 touchdowns. The Commanders' defense, they forced 5 Detroit turnovers as the Commanders stunned the top-seeded Lions 45-31. Terry McLaurin says the team has really come together this year.
You never know what could happen, but the way that we've galvanized together, we went through adversity in the middle of the season, and we finished the season strong. It's unbelievable to be in this spot, and we're excited.
Washington, they're headed to the NFC Championship game for the first time in 33 years. They will now await the winner of Sunday's Rams versus Eagles game. I'm Dexter Henry.
You make the call. 855-212-4227. When you want to talk to us, call 855-212-4227.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. 4 minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. Forty-five seconds remaining. Thirty seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
You have one of the best shows on radio. Your sports knowledge is unbelievable. I love listening to your show on my way home from work on Saturday night.
This is the Good Shepherd. 855-212-4227. That's the number to get in touch with us. The Infinity Sports Network.
Going to get back to phone calls momentarily. Ray, I want to continue the conversation on the air that you and I were having off the air. So there was, I won't say who the person was because I don't want to throw them under the bus, but there was something we weren't able to do as a show. And so I was doing the best I could to be proactive and go around, the floor and ask people, hey, do you know how to do this? Do you know how to do that? And it was the individual that you brought. I'm not going to mention his name, but you know the individual that I'm talking about that will go out of his way to have conversations with other people. But you know what I'm talking about? And I'll leave it there.
Yeah.
So this person's 10, 15 years younger than both of us.
Yeah.
And he's been here for
I don't think he realizes that either.
And he's been here for about a year and a half. Now, I've been here for 12. I've been here the whole time. I started here when this place started as CBS Sports Radio. So I go into the studio, and I ask him, and I go in, and I say, guys, just have a quick question for you. And he goes, oh, hey, dude. And I said to him, young man, my name is David, or it's Shep. I am not your dude. Show some respect. Was I wrong?
If that's you guys' first interaction, this is me being a completely neutral party.
Right.
As a man, I would understand that response. As a kid, I'd be like, "Yo, what's up with this guy? Like, what's going on?"
Wait. Like,
young me would probably be like, "Hey, take it easy."
Ray, if I'm in my 20s and I'm in a place of work and there's someone else that's 40 years old and has been there for the entirety of that operation, and I'm aware of that.
Professionally speaking, you're not supposed to say, "Hey, dude."
And you address me as dude or bro. We're not friends.
Right.
Was I wrong to say, excuse me, I'm not dude?
Was it just you guys in the room, or were there other people?
There was other people.
If it was just you guys, then it's cool. Other people, it becomes like one of those Curb Your Enthusiasm situations where Larry's right, but the scenario makes you seem like he's not right.
No, I completely disagree. I completely disagree with you, Ray. Like we're getting to a point in our lives right now. Like you're a dad.
Yeah.
Like we're not old, but we're older. These kids out of college, you're not calling me dude. Am I being overly sensitive here? Or when I was coming up and I was 25, 24, 23, 22, and I was an intern, and I was part-time, I wasn't going up to people. It doesn't matter what your role is. There's just a sign of respect that you show people.
And that's why I want to make it clear. You're 100% right. I think we're getting lost as far as what the social norm is in 2025 as we continue to grow as people. But normally speaking, if you and I don't communicate, we don't have a history of any levels of communication.
And clearly someone is significantly older than you.
Right.
And you're seeing them and they come into a room and you go, "Hey, dude." Like
at the very least, maybe not "Hey, dude," but "Hey, what's up?" Something.
Oh, okay. That's hey, how you doing? That's one thing.
Right.
Hey, dude, rubbed me the wrong way.
Yeah.
Am I off there?
Because you don't know how to take that. It could be dismissive. It could be a warm dude, but you don't know.
That wasn't a warm dude.
But it's not respectful. It's almost it's a passing or passive hello.
Right. It's like, "Hey, bro. Look, if I saw let me give an example. If I saw someone like Jim Rome, okay, if I saw someone like Rich Eisen, forget who they are.
Right.
They obviously look older than us. They are older than us. I'm not going up to them and saying, "Hey, bro. Hey, dude."
Not at all.
"Hey, buddy."
We have some guys here right in our office who are former athletes, and even though I know who you are, I don't say, "Hey, oh my God, good morning."
Right.
And I just keep it moving.
Keep it moving. Hey, what up, bro?
How you feeling? You doing all right? If that person wants to even have small talk at that point in the morning.
Right. I just think, and the reason I bring this up is because I think we're the last generation where you are taught to truly respect people that came before you, that are older than you. You show them respect. If somebody's on a subway and you're on that subway and they're older, offer them your seat. It's that simple. When you see someone is older than you, you don't go up to that person and say, "Hey, what up, cuz?" Like you just and it's unbelievable. It's unbelievable to me that I had this experience last week where I walk into a room, I'm asking a question, and this individual that's probably 23 years old goes, "Hey, dude."
In that regard, we are the last of a
couldn't believe
specific
it.
era.
And I didn't say it disrespectfully, but I just said, "Young man, I'm David, or I'm Shep, I'm not your dude.
Nah, what you gave him is what we like to call free game.
Okay.
Because you never know who you're talking to or who that person might know. You might want to elevate somewhere. You might need a favor at some time.
Right.
You don't want to dude the wrong guy.
Right. Again, nothing against this person. I just wanted to run this by. I don't know if other people experience this in their everyday life, but my experience is that we are the last generation. Those people born in the 1980s.
Yeah.
And again, there's exceptions. Like, Connor from he's now in Ohio, but he used to be in California. Like, he's 16, 17 years old now. I think he just turned 17. Very respectful young man. Like, we got a bunch of people that call this show
But
that
it's
are in their
so
early
not
20s.
common that when it happens, you're taken aback. Like, oh my God, this person has manners.
Right. Like, it's either sir or call them by their name. You don't got to call me Mr. You don't got to call me Mr. Shepard. You don't have to do any of that. But don't address me as your bro.
Dave.
You don't have to do any of that. That's too much. And it has nothing to do with like being behind a microphone. I'm not that kind of guy, but I'm just saying, like, there should be a level of decorum and respect that we have, not just in the workplace, but in larger society. You don't go up to someone that you know is significantly older than you and say to them, "Hey, what up, dude?" Like, that doesn't, I don't know. I don't vibe with that. That doesn't sit well with me. I just wanted to run that by you because we're of similar age.
Nah, you're 100% right, and I want to say welcome to the Unk Club. You're big Unk, and that's okay. We're Unks together.
Just not like Shannon Sharp where I'm yelling out Michelle?
No, you're in the early stage of Unk.
Okay, there you go. You got that reference. I know you did.
Yes, I did.
Yeah, okay, number to get aboard is 855-212-4227. On the other side, I promise you, we're going to take all your calls. Certainly going to weigh in on everything. Bills and Ravens, what a matchup that is going to be on Sunday. But again, we're going to start with your calls because we know a lot of people have been patiently waiting on the phone lines. This is Shep on the Infinity Sports Network. I'm not your bro, but we're coming right back.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. 2 minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. Forty-five seconds remaining. Seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
And I'll be at your side forevermore. You know your love keep on lifting higher, higher and higher.
This is the Good Shepherd.
Welcome back, everybody. David Shepard on the Infinity Sports Network. I'm going to preview Ravens and Bills in about 20 minutes from now. I do want to make sure we get to those people that have been patiently waiting on the busy phone lines at 855-212-4227. In my last segment, I made sure to put a message out there that we should all respect everybody, especially if those individuals are older than you. It is the right thing to do. At some point, if you are young, you will be in those shoes, and you will want to be treated with the utmost respect, especially by younger individuals. Just remember, we all get to be old at some point. Let's get to Oz in Texas. Oz, good morning, my friend. Always good to hear from you, brother. How you doing, man?
Hey, what's going on, Shep? First of all, great talking to you. Thanks for taking my call. And, I want to say you have a great show and also great callers. The vast majority of the people I listen to on here have great points. So I just want to give a shout-out to all of them.
Well said, Oz. You too, by the way.
Hey, thank you. I appreciate that. So first of all, I like to be prepared. I have some talking points, things that I want to talk to you about. But that all went sideways just a few minutes ago when two things that I really care about, this show and Curb Your Enthusiasm, were brought together with that moment of, hey, bro, what's up, bro? And I just wanted to give my little input on that.
Sure.
So I think if you're going to say, hey, bro, to somebody, there's got to be like a minimum of 3 conversations with that person, and they have to have went well. And, you got to have a little bit of rapport. But just for someone to say, hey, bro, to you, that's it's a little diminishing.
Well, hey, Oz, you just went up a whole nother peg in my book. Well said. I have not had interactions with this guy. None. And he knows, and I've seen him all the time. He knows who I am. I know who he is. And I walk into a room to ask a question, and he goes, hey, what up, dude? And I was just, I was again really shocked by that. If Ray and I are around the same age. Now, Ray and I are friends. And we have worked together long enough. If Ray saw me and goes, hey, dude, I'm not going to think anything of it. but he's not meaning that in any kind of disrespectful way, right?
Right.
But also, if Ray were 10, 15 years younger, I would appreciate him addressing me by my name. That would show a level of respect that I think I deserve.
Now, the only time that I could think it would be okay is if this individual came up to you close, like he needed a favor or some help with something, and he came up to you and said, "Hey, dude, I really need some help with this. I'm not sure what to do here." I could allow that maybe, but other than that,
right?
I mean, I'm not your dude. I'm not your bro.
Thank you. You get it. You get it, Oz. And Oz, here's the thing, man. Like, if you don't have self-respect, you cannot expect anyone else to show you respect. So I know people are listening to this and they're like, "Shep, what the hell are you talking about?" But the truth of the matter is, like, you have to draw a line with everybody. This is how you're going to treat me. This is what you're not going to do. And just like when Oz from Texas calls, I'm not going to pick up the phone and be like, "Yo, what up, dude? What you got?" I'm going to say, "Oz, Texas, how you doing, man?" You know what I mean? Like, there's like, what's the best word in the human language for everybody? Their name.
Yeah, absolutely. And this guy told me a long time ago, sorry to stay off tangent so much, we teach people how to treat us with what we tolerate.
100%.
And so by you nipping it in the bud there, that set the tone that, hey, I'm not, next time he's going to talk to you, he's not going to say, and if he does,
trust me. And I told this to Ray. I didn't even say this in the last segment. I have an ability to be very stern when I have to be. Ray, you're an educator. I was an educator as well. I know how to be stern when I have to be.
You have to push the button at times.
100%. And the whole expression is, Shep doesn't play. I do not play when it comes to disrespecting me. And same with you.
Absolutely not.
Oz, before anything else, even before being a radio host, before being a basketball coach, before being on SiriusXM, I am a man first and foremost. And what you are not going to do is be disrespectful to me. That I promise you. Now you can have fun at my expense, but it's not going to be, you know what I'm saying, like at my expense. It's going to be with me along for the ride, if that makes sense.
Yes, sir. I'd absolutely agree. And anyway, I just wanted to get that out there. But we had a lot of I don't want to say great football, but there was some great moments in the football that we had. I know a lot of people are upset about the refs, and instead of focusing on the problem, I always think people should look for a solution. And so, if the players are really upset about these refs, they should go take it in collective bargaining. Find a solution rather than focusing on this issue that they feel like they're being wrong.
I don't know if you heard the broadcast, but I think like Troy Aikman addressed like, hey, they need to really revisit this in the offseason. And like Joe Buck was clearly like trying to get a quote out there and also announcing. This is what I think honestly happens, okay? I think announcers are part of the problem. I think Troy Aikman's got to be smart enough to say, you know what? I was an NFL quarterback for 12 seasons, and I should be focusing on, to your point, Oz, what the players should be doing better instead of completely putting the onus on the referees. What I think too often is that announcers are so busy trying to make sure they get that soundbite out there of themselves on their broadcasts, so they're trying to say something really bold and really daring and really, polarizing. And I think that's what Joe Buck and Troy Aikman were doing. And as a result, instead of the game trending, what was trending on social media? It was Troy Aikman and Joe Buck, because they were trying to make examples out of those referees. Now, if you want to say the referees should improve on their ability to be objective, and they should have more of a process for having like an eye in the sky and not getting those calls wrong, have at it. But to go the level that they did, it seemed very unnecessary and attention-seeking. And Oz, to make this full circle, it's why people are going to miss Bob Uecker so much.
Oh, R.I.P. Bob Uecker. Just a little bit outside. Just a little outside.
Just a bit outside. Because Bob Uecker was never, ever about having a catchphrase. He was never about trying to be about that soundbite. He just was.
Yeah, absolutely. And, and the thing that I think the Texans, they need to look at, other than the refs, they need to look at, Will Campbell, Kevin Banks Jr., Will Fries, Tevin Jenkins, offensive linemen coming in the draft, and free agency. That's what they need to be looking at. That's what they need to focus on to get better in the trenches.
I agree, Oz. Great call on your part as always, my friend. Have a good rest of your Sunday. Enjoy the games today. We'll talk soon, okay?
Yes, sir. Thank you. Bye.
Thanks, Oz. Always good to hear from you. Number to get aboard is 855-212-4227. How we doing, Beck?
What's up, bros? The Fugees. Shout out to Rayon back on the decks. And, of course, Neeks. Yes, he needs to get some comedy and some other things with that younger generation. And, of course, my guy Tommy. And obviously another guy, Glenn. I'll save that to the end. No pun intended. But, yes, I guess we're not going to have the Lions-Bills Super Bowl.
Yeah.
But at least
Beck, you know you're the only person that – I know I've said this to you before. You know you're the only person that calls and there's literally nothing under the topics bar, right?
Well, I hope there's something.
No.
Because again, do I get to it or not? Because when I talked to, I got disconnected and I already scrapped what the other stuff was and just keep it. And again, how this goes. I mean, again, it's live. You know, it's unscripted. I mean, we're talking, again, whatever else. But to go back to the NFL, and of course, H-Town losing. At least they covered with seconds left. And speaking of Mahomes, and I know you know this, but how many people know that he's from Texas and Texas Tech was his college?
That's right.
And D-Hop got one target for 0 zeros and against his old team. And the Jaden and the Washington stuff, I guess we'll save for next week, maybe Friday or something. And again, let's go Bills. Let's go FSU Keon and Dalvin's brother James Cook. And Glenn and Niagara Falls now and not Toronto.
Yes. Yes, Beck. Thank you for the geography lesson on Glenn from Niagara Falls. Hey, Beck, let me get you out with this, man. You got Ohio State, too, in the national championship game?
I mean, I guess because it's you guys and everybody's been talking about Oregon, OSU the whole year being the top teams. Again, you're asking the wrong person because my hook 'em horns should be there. We're not going to get.
Well, they did. Hey, listen, they did give Sark a 7-year contract extension, so that's good news for you. That's good news.
It's not good news because then when they need to get fired, you have to pay a big buyout. But Belichick only has $1 million buyout in 2 months.
You think Steve Sarkisian's gonna get off the wagon again? You think he's gonna lose some control of his personal life? I think he's with it now, man. I don't think he's gonna make that same mistake again.
It doesn't have nothing to do about his personal life. But again, just coaches getting those deals.
Yeah, but
no matter who they are,
Beck,
you're gonna have to pay the buyout.
This is an elite head coach though. He's not going to forget how to coach in 2-3 years from now. You guys are going to be just fine. This was a solid hire. There's only one coach the last couple of years that has made it to the college football playoff in back-to-back seasons, and obviously this time around he won 2 games. So this was a no-brainer. This is a win-win for both parties.
No, but again, the atmosphere of where sports are going, regardless of the players and the amount of money they're making, the NIL deals and the amount of money those people are making, the coaches in college or whatever. Again, Indiana, remember we talked about the other week. You know, again, boom, here's your extension. But what happens if you suck in the next couple of years? You know, your buyout $60 million,
right?
$40 million.
But my point is about Stark. The games. Like to some extent, you can make an argument that for Mac Brown, the game passed him by, right? Like you can make that argument for him at Chapel Hill. What I'm saying is Sark is still young enough, and he's adaptable enough where that's not going to happen to him, even if it's off the field with the changes in NIL, with the easy elements to transferring now in the transfer portal. He's not going to fall victim to that. This was an excellent decision to bring back a guy for 7 more years that has been the most consistent head coach in college football for the last 3 years.
Right, but again, he just got there last year or 2 years ago.
4 years
so what
ago.
was his original contract? Again, these players or coaches never play out to their original contract. They keep getting extensions, and then if they, even in baseball, those are guaranteed contracts or whatever else. And then, A-Rod with the Yankees or whatever, we still got to pay
not a good couple days from A-Rod. I don't know how you play 20+ years of baseball, broadcast Major League Baseball games on Fox and ESPN, and think Bob Uecker was associated with Cleveland.
That's news to me.
Well, now you know. Now you know, Beck. Beck, the more you know, the more you know. I feel like the star's going to...
It is going live. We learn things every day.
Yeah, I feel like the star's going to come out anytime on NBC and say the more you know. Beck, always a pleasure, brother. Have a good Sunday. Enjoy the games today, man. We'll talk soon, my friend.
Hey, you guys, all of you all enjoy until next week and everything else, because I guess you're not going to be in the mix in the week. So next week, everybody have a good one.
Thanks for reminding me, Beck. I appreciate it. Good to hear from you in Florida. Thanks a lot. Number to get aboard is 855. That's a little parting shot from Beck. Well done. Number to get aboard is 855-212-4227. Let's get to Gilberto in San Diego. Always good to hear from you, my friend. What you got for us, Gilberto? I think you called it, man. You called it about the rust of the Detroit Lions. You were 1,000% correct. I was 100% wrong. Well done, my friend. Estupendo on your part.
Gracias, David. ¿Cómo estás?
Muy bien. ¿Y tú?
Muy bien, muy bien. And you know, you got to give credit what credit is due. Even though the Lions missed half their starters.
Right.
It was an impossible task. But Dan Quinn has turned the corner. I wonder how Jerry Jones feels right now. Okay?
That's a great point. Because obviously he had to know that Mike McCarthy was not going to be there long term. He had to know, because it didn't seem like he really gave a crap about keeping him long term after his contract expired. And there were rumblings a year and a half ago that Dan Quinn was the guy that was going to likely be replacing, obviously, Mike McCarthy when Kellen Moore left Dallas.
That's right. But you got to give it to Jaden Daniels. And that kid is amazing.
Yes.
I don't know if somebody can beat that team, because he's young, his first year, and he already has become a leader of men.
Absolutely. So stay with me on this for a second. If they play in Philly, because obviously we know Washington got the better of them as time expired recently, but that game also took place in the DMV. That was not in Philly, and Philly's a different animal playing at home. You really think Washington's going to go into Philadelphia and eke out an NFC title game?
They very well can do it.
And you really see that team going toe to toe against the Chiefs or against the Ravens or against the Bills now?
Against anybody now. They have a lot of talent, and they have nothing to lose. Now, I have the Rams tomorrow to beat the Eagles.
So you're going with the team that lost to the Eagles.
Yes, I saw the game.
Yeah, okay. No. Listen, I would never doubt that you're not coming with. I get it. I know you always have the reference points, but you also realize that Philadelphia has not lost at home in 4 months, right?
Yes, I know.
Okay, and this wasn't just a win that the Eagles had over the Rams early in the season. This was obviously at SoFi. Exactly, they basically doubled them up. So you're telling me the same team that got doubled up at home, and I know the Rams were 5-6 to begin the season. Now they're 6-1. So we're talking about a different team. But you and I both know they had no answer whatsoever, and they're not the only team to say this. But they had no answer for Saquon Barkley, who ran all over them.
Yes.
He had 255 yards, Gilberto.
I know, and he didn't even play the fourth quarter.
Right. And listen, I've said this before, and I'll say it again. I know he's got to be close to 37 if he's not already 37. But there is no quarterback when Matthew Stafford is on that is better than Matthew Stafford. Like, he still has that it factor. No question about that. When he gets hot, there's no hotter quarterback. So I get how dangerous they are. But you really like their chances in Philly.
I do. I actually do, and I like the Bills. And on Monday night, I'll throw in Ohio State. They're going to destroy Notre Dame.
Yes, and you know why? You know why? To me, Gilberto, is Ohio State. They have rolled over everybody so far. And meanwhile, you can make an argument that Penn State should have won that game against the Irish. And Notre Dame, they've been beneficiaries of having a relatively easy schedule, being part of an independent league, because they never played a top 10 team all season before the college football playoff. Meanwhile, Ohio State, they played 3 top 5 teams even before they got into the college football playoff. And you and I both know Riley Leonard, he's good. He hasn't been better than Will Howard in this college football playoff, has he?
No, he hasn't.
No.
I mean, he's good, and that's it. And I was gonna go to my next point, because when you put D'Amico Ryan, he said, we just couldn't beat a very good team, right?
Right.
But they beat the Chargers last week. So what does that say about the Chargers? Okay,
that's a fair point. By the way, I would be remiss if I didn't tell you this. So every 3 to 4 minutes, I'll glance down at the chat, just see how we're doing in that chat, because we got a lot of people that view the show now on YouTube. We have at minimum 400, 500, 600 people that now watch the show.
I catch the last hour last night.
All right, so you have a lot of people in this chat right now calling for you. They want you in this chat at some point. You got a lot of fans, Gilberto.
Oh well, I'll do it through you, my friend, because I love your show, David. I've been listening to you for about 5 years, I think. When you started, well, not started, but when you were with Jody Mack, I think.
Wow.
And,
so you didn't catch me all the way back with Scott Farrell then?
No, I
Okay.
didn't. I wasn't into sports radio then.
Gotcha.
To tell you the truth.
Gotcha.
But since I've been listening, and I listen here to, like I told you, Win and Chris, man, I see your growth, and I'm just grateful for a couple of things. For you, and that you don't gamble. Don't ever do that, okay?
I appreciate that, yeah. Well, listen, Gilberto, I work in radio, not television, so I don't have the money to be gambling with. That's the first thing. And again, the thing that I love about radio, and you are, without question, undoubtedly a part of this conversation, is I get to speak to people that are so knowledgeable and so insightful like yourself, and it's what makes this so much fun for me, because I get to speak to people that otherwise I would never have the opportunity to speak with, because let's be honest, we run in different social circles. I don't go to San Diego, as lovely as I hear that it is, by the way. And I promise you, if I ever become a national television star, I am making a trip to San Diego, and we're going to go to a sporting event. That is a promise I'm giving you, Gilberto.
We already agreed on
Yes.
that. And,
Yes, we did.
And one thing that your show leaves me, every time I listen to it, now obviously twice a week, I get to listen what other people think in different parts of the country.
Sure, absolutely.
And all of the callers, I mean, they're amazing. Their insight, their thoughts, and their opinions is incredible. And I'm very grateful to be able to listen to you, my friend.
Thanks, Gilberto. I'm grateful to have you a part of it, man. So appreciate the kind words, brother. Always a pleasure to talk to you. Enjoy the games today, and go Ravens. I know a lot of people are saying go Bills. Go Ravens, and say hi to Tony for me as well.
Tony?
Yeah, his son. Don't you go on with him all the time?
Oh, I don't go out with him. I listen to him.
Oh, I thought you said you talked to him. You're misleading. You're misleading the jury.
No. I talk to him the way I talk to you in the show.
Oh, I got you, but I'm saying, tell him Shep says hi.
I will.
I'm sure he knows who I am.
Oh, they know.
Right.
They know.
So, listen, man. When it comes to San Diego, we could talk about LT, and I'm not talking about Lawrence. I'm talking about LaDainian. We could talk about Dan. We could talk about any great San Diego athlete, Phillip, whoever you want to throw out there. There is nobody that is bigger in the history of San Diego sports than Tony Gwynn Sr., R.I.P. And his son is great on the air.
Definitely. And there's only one little thing that they may not want to talk to me for a couple of weeks. They're really upset
about the Chargers.
Sasaki chose the Dodgers.
Okay. Well, everyone gets the Dodgers these days. What else is new? Gilberto, buenos noches, my friend.
Buenas noches, David. Thank you very much,
Thank you, Gilberto. Always good to talk to Gilberto in San Diego. Number to get aboard is 855-212-4227. When we get back, we're going to take your calls. We'll certainly preview a little bit more of the Bills and the Ravens. We'll get into Eagles and Rams as well. So much more to do on the busy program on the Good Shepherd on the Infinity Sports Network. If you can't get through on the phone lines, you can always reach me at Shep on Air on any social media platform. You can always check us out on our YouTube page on the Infinity Sports Network, and we are coming right back.
You're in a 5-minute break. 4 minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. .45 seconds remaining. .30 seconds remaining. .15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
And Jody Mack, man,
I will sit there for 8 hours and listen to people.
This is the Good Shepherd. 855-212-4227. That's the number to get in touch with us, the Infinity Sports Network.
Welcome back, everybody. David Shepard on the Infinity Sports Network. Look, to me, it's very simple. When you talk about the Bills and the Ravens beat the Bills in Week 4, 35-10. I understand that was in Baltimore. You cannot tell me that Orchard Park gives them a 25-point swing. You also can't tell me that the Ravens haven't gotten significantly better since then. They are now a top 5 defense under Zach Orr. They were certainly not when they played the Bills. Also, you have to factor Zay Flowers. He's likely to play. That's a really good sign for Baltimore. And they have no answer, and nor does any team, for Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry, the last 4 games, has been averaging 160 yards on the ground. We understand he went for a $199 against the Bills early in the season, and that started off with an 87-yard touchdown run. Lamar Jackson, we know his Achilles heel in the postseason is turnovers. I don't see him being turnover prone anymore. Ray, before we get back to phone calls, there's a narrative I want to clean up when it comes to Lamar versus Josh, because this is what I've been hearing all week, and back me up if you've heard the same thing. Josh Allen has a better playoff record than Lamar Jackson. Therefore, he's better in the playoffs. Therefore, the Bills are going to get the better of the Ravens. Now, have you heard something similar to that?
Yeah, that's been a steady talking point.
Okay. Now, let's clean this up, okay? Because this is why nuance and context matters.
Okay.
How many 7 seeds has Lamar Jackson played in his NFL postseason career?
Not too many.
He hasn't played any. Mm-hmm. Because Lamar Jackson is so prolific in the regular season that on multiple occurrences, he's had bye weeks.
Yeah.
So he doesn't play 7 seeds. Josh Allen has.
Oh.
He's 4-0 against 7 seeds. Now let's take a little deeper look at this. Josh Allen against seeds 1 through 6 is what in his postseason career?
I'd say based on recent history, he's somewhere hovering around 500.
He's 2-5.
2-5?
Yep.
My goodness.
2-5. Lamar's 3-4. So what does that tell you? Let's not be prisoners of generic, very basic statistical information, because we got to look at context.
Can I play devil's advocate?
Context matters. I thought I was making a brilliant point here. I thought you're going to be like, Shep, no one else has brought that to anyone's attention. That's brilliant. But yes, poke a hole in my theory. What we got, Ray?
I'm gonna turn heel and join the talking point.
So you're going to be like Hulk Hogan getting booed when he's out in the WWE?
Absolutely.
That was bad, by the way.
I'm going to...
That was awful.
Upset Shep, maybe.
Let's hear it.
There's a lot of people who are holding Lamar Jackson's AFC Championship game performance against him from last season. What do you say to that?
That's fair. We're also talking about a Zay Flowers that was not in his best mind.
Okay.
That did not have his best game. We're also talking about a Ravens team that did not feature who?
Derrick Henry.
That's a big feature. That is a big piece to this puzzle.
That's a game changer.
It is the ultimate game changer. And Ray, Lamar, for the first time in his postseason career, doesn't feel the gravity of having to do everything by himself.
That's fair. But tomorrow's going to be a big test because I want to see him play.
You mean today?
Well, it is Sunday, isn't it?
Yeah.
Man, at the end of the day.
But tomorrow will be a big test. We don't know why, but it's going to be a big test for somebody.
No, but in all seriousness, we just need to see Lamar Jackson rise to the occasion.
This is the problem I'm going to have with whoever loses, because this is where the media is going to take it.
This is a tough game for you, period, because you love Josh Allen as well.
Of course I do. People think I hate Josh. I love Josh Allen. Like, I think he's great.
He was your MVP until Week 16.
Ray, you weren't here yesterday morning. Like, people were there was someone that called that said, like, I said Josh Allen was overrated. I never said Josh Allen was overrated. Hickey and I have high hair. So people confuse Ryan Hickey and myself sometimes.
Wow.
Because Hickey has high hair too. I got high hair.
This is why you need me here more often.
There you go. So, like, I was saying I never said that about Josh Allen. Like, Josh Allen is an individual that if he retires today at 28 years old, he's a Hall of Famer.
I think I said he was overrated on your show, and you told me I was out of my mind.
Right. Lamar Jackson has been a better regular season quarterback. There's no disputing that. And the truth of the matter is, whoever loses this game, the conversation, unless this is like a shootout, is going to be they can't get it done in the big games. They'll never win a Super Bowl with said quarterback. That's the problem with the media, where the reality is these are 2 of the best 4 teams in the NFL. I believe the Eagles are there, the Chiefs, the Ravens, and the Bills. These are the 4 best teams in the NFL right now. Someone's got to lose. It's unfortunate. Someone's got to lose. And the truth of the matter is, I do not believe Lamar Jackson is going to be that losing quarterback. It is unfortunately going to be Josh Allen, because as great as the Bills have been in the regular season, the Ravens had the much more difficult schedule, in addition to playing in the more difficult division, where 2 of the 3 teams that they were facing were playoff caliber, where the Bills were basically playing 6 byes every single time they played a foe in the AFCs.
You're going to upset Bills Nation, Shep.
I'm just being real about that. Anyways,
you're going to have the Swifties and Bills fans after you after this one, man.
Well, so I'm going to have Chiefs Nation against me, too, if I'm upsetting Swifties. There you go. So I got all fan bases. Number to get aboard is 855-212-4227. Let's get to Alan in Toronto. Alan, always good to hear from you, buddy. What you got for us on the NFL?
The Lions are the 4th team to belong to Heartbreak Hotel. Team 15-1 and 15 team winners not reaching the Super Bowl. The 1998 Minnesota Vikings, 2004 Pittsburgh Steelers, 2011 Green Bay Packers, and now the Lions. It's going to be a very long off season for the Lions. You know, how do you make changes on a 15-win team? And the loser, the point I'd like to make is the loser of the Bills and the Ravens game. It's going to be a long off season for them too. There's going to be a lot of questions, and they're going to belong in Heartbreak Hotel too, and in a lesser time. I mean, a lesser type. But they're going to be all 3 teams are going to be belong. In
I hear you. Now,
Hotel.
Alan, you're rooting for the Bills, I take it.
Yes, as a matter of fact, I'm going to be going there.
You're going to the game?
Bob Uecker see something. Yeah, we're going to be going up on the
Alan,
top.
you and I have known each other for a long time. Why didn't you invite me?
yeah, I know. Yeah. So,
did you invite JR?
I sure would have. Yeah, the 3 of us would have had a ball.
Yeah. Why didn't you invite JR?
Yeah. Sure. Yeah, the 3 of us would have had a great time.
Did you guys ever end up crossing paths?
Not yet, no, but I'm going to be, when I'm on my way down to Florida, I'm going to be going down to Interstate 75, and eventually I'm going to be going there. So
that's great, man. I know JR would love to talk some sports with you and some shop, man. So I hope you guys, in all seriousness, do connect, man. Yeah, Alan, this is going to be one of the ultimate playoff games we've had in a long time, because these are probably 2 of the best 3 teams in the NFL, and they just happen to be meeting in the divisional round. And these are 2 quarterbacks that are playing the best football of their respective careers, and both teams seem to be peaking at the right time. So this is going to be fascinating to watch, and I believe it will be one of the most competitive divisional round matchups we've ever seen.
And I'm going to be dressed up like I'm going on an expedition to the Arctic, too, because, you know, it's going to be brutal there. There's going to be a stiff breeze, and it's going to be something like it's going to be in the single digits with a stiff breeze.
I know. Listen, people are saying Cancun in reference to Dan Campbell because he's out of the playoffs. I don't mind Cancun right about now because I need some warm sunshine in my life. Alan, always a pleasure, brother. You be well. Enjoy the game today and be safe, okay?
Yeah, I walk a long way. It's about a half an hour walk. I don't want to be sitting in a traffic jam afterwards. So it's a half an hour there, half an hour back. So
right.
I get my exercise too. So.
Oh, look at that! You're Jack LaLanning it to your way on the game.
Exactly. Yeah.
Well,
so I'm looking forward to it.
Well done. Well, enjoy the game, Alan. Always good to hear from you, my friend.
Sure. Yeah, we'll talk to you soon. You haven't heard the last of me.
Thanks, Alan. Appreciate you, man. Number to get aboard is 855-212-4227. If I never hear from you again, I'll assume that some Ravens fan unfortunately snatched you up. Crossing my fingers, that's never the case for Alan in Toronto. Let's get to Jacob in California. Jacob, good morning, man. What you got for us, sir?
Hey, good morning, Shep. How you doing?
Good, man. How are you?
Good, man. First-time caller. I love your show.
Thanks, man. Appreciate the kind words. Welcome, man.
Hey, so I'm a Bills fan out here from California, and I can't help think that the Bills are slightly getting disrespected in this game based off the spread that Vegas is putting out there. I think that they're putting too much on this Week 4 game, where the Bills were missing so many players on defense, starting linebackers, and the Bills have totally evolved into much more balanced offense since then. And I just want to know if you think that there's some, bit of disrespect. I mean, they're undefeated at home.
And, them and the Chiefs are the only 2 undefeated teams at home. And I'm obviously not including Week 18, because we all know the Chiefs basically rested everybody.
Yeah.
The thing about the Bills is the reason why there's this overriding, I don't want to say disrespect, but lack of trust is because they're the Bills, Jacob, where the Ravens, they haven't necessarily won the big one with Lamar, but they have won with two different quarterbacks. And so you don't feel like the franchise is destined to be doomed. Where with the Bills, you're just waiting for the shoe to drop at some point. You know what I mean? And
No, I understand.
I think that's where the lack of trust comes from with the Bills. You can't say, based on what the Bills did to not just the Lions this year, but the Chiefs, which no one else was able to do, that this isn't without question a legitimate Super Bowl contender. I just think they're facing the wrong team because they're just a bad matchup for Buffalo. It's not even that necessarily the Ravens are such a better team. They're just a bad matchup because the Bills don't have a great run defense. You know what I mean? They don't have that kind of defense right now. And listen, if we're talking about Von Miller on the Broncos, sign me up. But we're not talking about Von Miller on the Broncos, are we?
No, definitely not. I just think that everybody sees a 35-10 score in Week 4 and thinks, oh, they're going to come and wipe the floor with them, when we were missing so many defensive starters in that game.
Yeah, and Jacob, I don't know if you remember this, but go. I'm trying to think of what year it was. It was either 2018, 2019, but the Dolphins, they got smacked around by the Patriots. Smacked around. It was like 45-0 in Miami, by the way. And the Patriots clobbered them. And then Ryan Fitzpatrick played Brady and company in Week 17 in New England and beat them. So I don't think that Week 4 performance should be so indicative in determining who's going to come out on top in this game. The trouble for Buffalo is that the Ravens weren't quite the Ravens we've seen the last few weeks in Week 4. That's their biggest issue, is they're facing a much better team now than what they saw in Week 4.
Well, I think the same thing could be said for the Bills.
Sure.
The Bills are a much more balanced offense than they ever have been. I mean, Josh Allen has had to play, kind of superhero for many of these last playoffs.
Well, Cook's amazing, by the way.
Yeah, and this is, I feel like, the most balanced offense that we've had. And I also think back to when Lamar came back. Yeah, I know they didn't have Derrick Henry, but Lamar came to Buffalo in the playoffs. I want to say it was in the COVID year, and we beat him then, too.
17-3, right?
Yeah, when he threw a pick six to Terry
yeah.
Johnson. I remember that game, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. No, that's a fair
so
point.
I don't know. I guess I just think that a lot of people look back at that game and just think, oh, well, we got wiped, so it's going to be something similar.
Right. No. There's no way in Sam Hell the Bills are going to be held to 10 points. That is absolutely not happening. But Jacob, man, wishing your Bills success either way, and call back anytime, man. Good to have you aboard.
Hey, man, thanks for taking my call. Have a good one.
You do the same, Jacob. Enjoy the games today. Number to get aboard is 855-212-4227. When we get back, we're going to take as many phone calls as possible before the end of the show. If you can't get through the busy phone lines, you can always hit me up on any social media platform at Shep On Air. You can always hit us up on the YouTube chat on the Infinity Sports Network. We're coming back very soon. But before we do anything else, let's get to our last sports flash of this particular show. Here is Dexter Henry.
Infinity Sports Network Sports Flash.
All right, Dave. 6-game NBA slate on Saturday night in San Francisco. Andrew Wiggins scored a team-high 31 points, and Steph Curry, he dropped 26 before leaving the game in the final minutes with an ankle injury. As the Warriors, they beat the Wizards 122-114. Kevin Durant scored 30 of his 36 points in the second half. Devin Booker, he produced a 35-piece for his 5th consecutive 30-point game. And the Suns, they made it 5 wins in 6 games as they pushed past the Pistons 125-121. In Naptown, Pascal Siakam scored 10 of his 21 points in the fourth quarter. Miles Turner added 18 points and 11 boards. And the Pacers, they stopped the shorthanded Sixers 115-102. In Boston, Trae Young led 5 Hawks players in double-figure scoring with 28 points and 11 dimes. Dyson Daniels, he added 23 as the Hawks clipped the Celtics in overtime 119-115. The NBA leading Cavaliers, they got 36 points from Donovan Mitchell, 29 from Darius Garland. In Minneapolis, as Cleveland, they recorded their 35th win of the season, downing the Timberwolves 124-117. And in Portland, Jalen Green scored a game-high 26 points. Alperen Şengün recorded a double-double with 23 points and 15 boards. As the Rockets, they sent the Blazers to their 5th straight loss, winning 125-103. NFL playoffs continue Saturday with the divisional round in the Motor City. Jaden Daniels connected with his top wideout to give the Commanders the lead.
First and 10, Washington. They're at their own 41-yard line. Snap to Daniels. Quick throw to the opposite side. Terry McLaurin got through 2 defenders. 50-40 by 40. 30 by 30. Foot race at the 20. 15, 10, 5. Stays on his feet. Touchdown! Touchdown, Washington! Unreal run by McLaurin!
Oh, my God.
That's the Commanders radio network. The rookie QB found Terry McLaurin for a 58-yard score to give Washington a 17-14 lead, and they would go on to dump the Lions 45-31 to advance to the NFC Championship game. Over in the AFC, the Chiefs, they advanced to their 7th consecutive AFC title game. They halted the Texans 23-12. Big day for Travis Kelce in this one as he recorded 7 catches for 117 yards and a touchdown. I'm Dexter Henry.
Hey, like us on Facebook. Our handle is INF Sportsnet. That's INF Sportsnet for our Facebook page. This is the Infinity Sports Network.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining.
minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. Forty-five seconds remaining. Thirty seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
And let's get back to calls. I know people have been waiting patiently. Mark in Florida, how you doing tonight, and what you got for us?
I'm well, thank you. I respect your show explicitly.
This is the Good Shepherd. 855-212-4227. That's the number to get in touch with us. The Infinity Sports Network.
Welcome back, everybody. David Shepard on the Infinity Sports Network. If you can't get through our busy phone lines at 855-212-4227, you can always hit us up on our YouTube chat. You can always follow me at Shep on Air on any social media platform. Let's get to as many people as possible before we end it over to Rich Herrera in about 10 minutes. Let's get to Rob in Connecticut. It's always good to hear from Rob in CT. How you doing, my friend? What you got for us?
What's up? The GOOD Shepard.
What's going on,
How you
Rob?
doing, my friend?
Good, brother. Always good to hear from you,
I
man.
want to say, it's always a pleasure. I woke up to Ray with that caller about, 5 callers back. Dan, he used Cuckamouth on the radio, and Ray sounded like the Vikings announcer when he was like, throw the damn ball.
That's right. Right.
He did. I was like, he wanted Dan to spit it out. He was like, throw the damn ball.
I know. Ray's the director. He's the executive producer. He's trying to move things along. So, Rob, what you got for us on Chiefs Texans, man?
I was just going to say, you and Ray work well together, just like Carlos with the K with Bart. Anyways, I was just going to say, I was just completely disgusted with the Kansas City game. I just don't understand how defenses can't figure out that they're going to throw it to Kelsey and blanket him. I mean, how hard is it to blanket that guy?
Unbelievable how wide open he was. It is inexcusable for Travis Kelsey to lead the game in receptions, lead the game in reception yards, lead the game in receptions, touchdowns. You know who this guy is. That's the guy you have to stop.
Exactly. The other thing is you came up with some brilliant observations about the Bills and the Ravens game. I really appreciate it. I am a Bills fan. I totally agree with you. There's apprehensiveness going into this game.
Absolutely.
But my prediction is 24-20 Buffalo.
All right.
So with that, I know you got other callers. I just wanted to chime in and say, hey, what's up? What's going on? But I got Washington going to the Super Bowl.
Oh, look at you. That's a bold prediction, Rob. We appreciate the call. Always my friend. Sorry it couldn't be longer. Call in earlier next time. Rob, enjoy the games today, okay?
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Rob. Appreciate you, man. Let's get to Steve in Green Bay. Steve, you got about 40 seconds. Go ahead, my friend.
All right. I'm going to conspiracy theory because of the colors of the trophy and the background. So,
it's honest.
Eagles don't stand a chance.
Okay.
Because the Rams have gold in them. And the colors, I don't know if you know, but the Roman numerals have red with gold in it. And then there's a purple background, leaving the Ravens still there. So I'm going Ravens over the Bills. And basically, I would say for the Super Bowl, it's going to be, I don't know, either the Ravens or the Chiefs, but I definitely believe the Commanders are going to be in the Super Bowl.
All right. That's a heck of a matchup. You got 3 teams that have already won Super Bowl, so that may work, Steve. Appreciate the phone call. Thank you for being concise. Brad in Buffalo, you got the final word on the program, man. Go ahead.
Yeah, I just wanted to say disappointed in lack of respect for Josh Allen and the Bills.
Yep.
And the best team left is the Eagles. The last couple callers were all about the Commanders. The Eagles were dominating that game, and the complexion of that game changed when Jalen Hurts got hurt.
Yep.
That the Eagles are the best team, and they're going to win it all.
I appreciate the bold prediction, but Brad, thank you very much from the call in Buffalo. Look, there's not Buffalo slander on this program or on this network. The reality is everybody witnessed what took place in Week 4 when the Ravens completely knocked the teeth in of the Buffalo Bills, and Derrick Henry ran wild 199 yards against the Buffalo Bills, and they had no answer for him. And what we know about Derrick Henry is that he only gets better as the season progresses, and we saw what he did against Pittsburgh in the playoffs. We've seen him average 160 yards on the ground the last 4 games. I'm not denying King Henry maybe what could be his last greatest chance of winning a Super Bowl, and you know Lamar speaking at the right time. Maybe I'm wrong. I doubt it. Ray Jarvis, pleasure to work with you, my friend, as always. Great job as the executive producer and on-air contributor as the show. You do a brilliant job every single time we work together. I appreciate you, man. Love you, brother. And love Rich Herrera. He's coming up next. And I love you all. Have a great weekend, everybody. Enjoy the games. This is Shep. I'm out.
You're in a